The following is a presentation of Wareham Gatemen Baseball, brought to you by the Gatemen Baseball Network in conjunction with the Cape Cod Baseball League.
Last summer, the Wareham Gatemen had one of their most successful seasons in franchise history.
Skied out to left field. This ball is way back. See you later, Colton Shaver.
2-1 pitch. That is rocketed out to right field. Back goes the right fielder. That one's gone. An absolute bomb to right field for Gavin Sheets.
But despite their regular season success, the 2016 Gatemen were sent packing after the first round of the CCBL playoffs.
Is this ball fair? It is! Rowe comes in to score the game's tying run. McKinnon comes in as well. Bourne has walked off, and Wareham's season is over.
Now, a new season and a fresh start in Wareham. College baseball's finest are coming from all over the country in pursuit of the Gatemen's 8th Cape Cod Baseball League Championship.
Through the infield, coming around to score is Topa. Play at the plate, and Metz is safe too. It's a 2 RBI single. 0-1 count on Luke Botfield, who swings and drives this one deep to left field. That one is into the trees.
Oh, that's sent right up the middle, past the dive of the shortstop, and in for a base hit. Rounding third, heading home is Bonfield. An RBI single for Robbie Metz.
Off speed, throwing back to first base, McIver, and the tag is in time from Sable. Driven out to right center and deep. This one is gone. Tristan Pompey is second of the night, his second 3-run shot.
Chopped in the infield, coming over is Politz. He doesn't handle the baseball. The run scores. The Gatemen win their 3rd consecutive home opener.
It's Wareham Gatemen Baseball, and you're listening to it live on the Gatemen Baseball Network.
A picture-perfect 4th of July day here on Cape Cod. The sun's been out nonstop. People have been at the beach enjoying this wonderful day of our nation's birth with the 4th of July. Comes baseball, we've got that for you here on the Gatemen Baseball Network in conjunction with the Bourne Braves. Bourne's broadcast tonight is down, so we will give you video and audio tonight here on the Gatemen Baseball Network. It's the 4th place Wareham Gatemen taking on the 1st place Bourne Braves at Doran Park in Bourne, Massachusetts. Jacob Toby alongside Sam Corman. We will check in with our sideline reporter Claudia Chikamin in a little bit, as well as Gatemen Pregame Live host Connor Federico. Our beat writer Matty Feld is also on hand tonight in his seersucker suit. And Sam, as we start to talk about the Bourne Braves, we're going to first talk about the Wareham Gatemen. You talked to assistant coach Daryl Maxwell last night about pitch selection in this Wareham Gatemen lineup.
Yeah, after the game, Daryl Maxwell came up to us and he said, "What do you think the biggest thing wrong with this team is?" And me and one of the producers, Nick Veronesi, we couldn't come up with anything. We couldn't come up with the actual reason why he thought the hitting was going poorly. We none of us hit it on the number, and he looks at us and he goes, "Pitch selection. They're swinging at pitches out of the zone, and they're waiting for breaking balls, not swinging at fastballs in the zone, and they're taking all their hacks on curveballs." So that's the main focus for this Gateman coaching staff right now, is to enforce which pitches to swing at and which to let go, because right now that's the biggest issue with the Gatemen. You're seeing a lot of swings outside the zone, especially from guys trying to hit for power, like Tristan Pompey right now chasing a lot of pitches in the dirt. We've seen a lot of strikeouts from guys like Jaron Duran and Kyle Kasser and others, because they've been struggling to identify which pitches to swing at, and that's the main issues for the Gatemen hitters so far.
And 2 errors yesterday versus Katuitt. You're going to talk about errors correlating into runs against. This has been a problem for Wareham this season.
Yeah, and if you go back to that devastating walk-off loss in Falmouth, we're going to keep going back to that game.
Don't mention it. Don't. No, it's
We're going
okay.
to keep going back to that game because they had 5 errors that game, and you could argue that that was the reason ultimately why they lost. There was an error in the 9th inning that by the catcher Jake Anchia, and there was an error on the 3rd baseman Robbie Metz, the shortstop. Every infielder that game basically had an error, and that's ultimately why they lost that game. And it may not seem like it on the scorebook that's the reason, because they lost 8-4 in 11 innings, and the pitching did kind of collapse in the 9th, but the errors were really just like that one thing that pushed it over the limit for Falmouth. And then yesterday against Katuitt at home, they may have not scored any runs, but when Falmouth was able to put runs on the board, it was often an error that allowed it. It was an error in the third inning that allowed Griffin Conine to come in and score, and it was a pass ball in the seventh that allowed Ivan Gonzalez to come around and score Katuit's second run. So they didn't get any run support, but still, ultimately bad defense was the reason that Katuit got both their runs yesterday in a stellar pitching performance from Justin Glover, Noah Zavalis, and Fitz Stadler.
Nick Angelini, he's back in the lineup tonight, batting ninth, making his first start in right field. What do you expect out of him tonight?
Well, Nick Angelini, the last time he was in the lineup was back at Katuit. He had a 3-run bomb to the opposite field. So I'm sure he's pretty excited to be back in the lineup, trying to replicate that performance. If he can get it out to, the corner of right field here, it's 300 feet. It's kind of like the pesky pole in Boston, where it's 300 feet down the line, but then 360 in right field. It kind of just immediately goes outward out there. So placement for these, especially for these left-handed batters pulling the ball that way, if they can place it correctly, they'll have a good chance to hit some home runs here at Doran Park.
Hey, you are wearing a white polo. I'm wearing a blue one. Gatemen Pregame Live host Connor Federico, he's wearing a red one. Connor?
Thank you very much, gentlemen, and a happy 4th of July to you all. What gracious hosts the Bourne Braves are tonight, making sure that we have video tonight here at the ballpark, and it was very nice of them to get us that for our first video road broadcast. The Bourne Braves, they're not going to try to be as gracious hosts on the field. They'll be looking for a win tonight, just like the Gatemen. 8-11, the Gatemen record 11-8. That's what the Bourne Braves are on the season. That's a 3-game lead over Wareham, who's currently in 4th place in the Western Division standings. And by the way, the Gatemen are 3-6 on the road this season. They'll look to improve that mark tonight. So we'll take a look at the pitching matchups between these two teams. First, for the Bourne Braves, we'll see Andrew Crane. This is his first appearance for the Bourne Braves this summer. He comes from Troy University. He is going to be a senior there next year, spent his first 2 years with East Mississippi Community College. And this year for the Troy Trojans, a 6-2 record. For a starter, a really impressive 1.47 ERA. You have to like that. 60 strikeouts in 61 innings. And that is just a really impressive mark, plus a sub-1 walks hits per innings pitched. Like I said, it's his first appearance for the Bourne Braves this summer. He stands 6'5", 220 pounds. Now moving to the mound for the Wareham Gatemen. On the road tonight, they will throw Griffin Roberts, who has a sub-2 ERA, 1.80 to be exact, through two starts and one more relief inning back on June 20th against Orleans. He has pitched in a win and a loss, through 4 innings in a win against Orleans on June 23rd, and through 5 innings in a loss to the Falmouth Commodores on June 28th. He has no decisions on the season, so his record remains 0-0, but he has 12 strikeouts through 10 innings. Really impressive stat line for him right there. And coming out of Wake Forest this year, he was drafted in the 29th round by the Twins this past year. Had 29 appearances, all in relief for the Wake Forest Demon Deacons, a 2.19 ERA, and 80 strikeouts. So we know what we're going to see out of the 6'3", 205 Griffin Roberts. But to talk about some pitching from last night, the Gatemen did have a good pitching performance. We'll throw it to our Claudia Chakamian, who's with Frank German. Claudia.
Thanks, Connor. Claudia Chakamian with Gateman pitcher Franklin German. So, Franklin, you've been improving every time you go out there. You now have a 1.42 ERA. So, what pitches have really been working for you throughout the season?
I think that the combination of like a fastball and a slider is pretty good. Just making sure the slider gets over for strikes, and then it's easier that way, you know.
Is that the main thing that Lawler's been working with you on, and how has he been helping you get that?
Yeah, he's been working with me a lot of drills with other guys. Everyone's kind of improving their off speed. So like when we get in the game, you can just throw it for strikes and you have that weapon in your back pocket.
Yeah, so going off of that, how do you think the pitching staff overall has been improving every time you've been going out there?
I think that the pitching staff's pitching really well. Like we have a good rotation in place. We got some good bullpen pieces. Like everyone knows their role. And every time someone goes out there, everyone has confidence in them. So I like where we're at right now.
And is there something that you've noticed a drastic improvement on from your season at UNF this past year that you want to keep improving on every time you go out on the mound?
I just want to have a better attitude. Like out of the pen, you just want to shut down the door and not give them any life, no leadoff walks, and that's what I'm focusing on this summer.
And today's 4th of July. You're playing on the Cape. How excited are you to be out here today?
It's really exciting. I like the weather. The weather's perfect today, no wind or anything, and it's just a great. Whenever you're playing on a national holiday like this, it's awesome. I love playing on national holidays.
Great. Thanks, Franklin.
No problem.
Back to you, Connor.
Thank you very much, Claudia. And it is 4th of July today. A happy Independence Day to all of you out there watching and listening tonight on the Gatemen Baseball Network. Thank you to Bourne Braves fans for watching tonight. We apologize your home broadcast is down, but we thank you for being here with us tonight. And it's 4th of July tonight, but last night it was 4th of July night at Spillane Field. We'll see how that one went against the Cotuit Kettleers.
Welcome out to Spillane Field, everybody. It is the Cotuit Kettleers taking on the Wareham Gatemen for game number 19 this season.
Through the first 2 innings, Justin Glover did a good job of getting ground ball outs. The one ground ball just didn't go the Gatemen's way.
Rips this one to Baird, that goes right through his legs, rounding third. Coming to score is Conine. To third goes Avant to second. And gunned down is Cresto for the second out of the inning. Nevertheless, a run does score. Conine comes home from second. 1-0 in favor of the Kettleers.
Justin Glover, the Gateman starting pitcher, only ended up throwing 3 innings, giving up no earned runs, but that one on the scoreboard did hurt the Gatemen early. Moving forward, Noah Zavalis replaced him up on the hill, and he had quite the outing.
0-2. Can I help you, sir? No thanks, just looking. Chandler Avant down for the second out of the inning.
That one right there, one of 5 strikeouts for Noah Zavalis on the evening. But moving over to Wareham's offense, they had trouble at the outset getting runners on base, but they did have an opportunity in the 6th inning.
Collins 1-1, bunted down the third baseline. Nicely done by Dodson. The throw is in time. Close play at first base. Nevertheless, Dodson does his job, moves the runners a position ahead, second and third, 1 out. Here's Kyle Kasser with a chance to tie this game. Grounds it to the shortstop Avant, looks back the runner, now there's a pickle. And now they're just gonna tag out Quan, who was caught in between second and third. Baird is safe at third, but Avant really caught the Gateman base runners up right there. Baird remains at third. Kasser is the runner at first. McIver, slow roller to the second baseman, Alexander. And the Cotuit Kettleers get out of the inning unscathed. The Gatemen still do not have a run on the board.
So in the 6th inning, the Gatemen strand 2 runners in scoring position with only 1 out in the inning. Part of the lineup just couldn't get it done for Wareham in that situation. And moving to the top of the 7th, the Gateman, Frank German, he walked the 9-hitter to start off the inning. And then that 9-hitter, with no hits from the Kettleers, was able to come around and score.
Gonzalez is the runner at third, showing bunt, and the ball gets away from McIver. Coming home to score is Gonzalez. And 2-0 in favor of the Cotuit Kettleers.
So the Kettleers take a 2-0 lead, but moving to the 8th inning now, they could have made it 3-0, but a great defensive play by Kyle Kasser, and Willie McIver kept the score the same.
Showing bunt, putting it down the third baseline. They'll come home with it. The tag is in time. Cone tagged out at home plate for the second out.
Despite some good plays defensively and some chances for the offense throughout the game, the Gatemen just didn't have enough to beat Zane Collins, the pitcher for the Kettleers, who went 9 scoreless innings.
1-1 to the second baseman, Alexander. That is your ball game. For the Wareham Gatemen, they fall to the Cotuit Kettleers by a final score of 2-0. They even the season series up at 1 game apiece. Cotuit advances to 10-9. The Wareham Gatemen fall to 8-11.
So that's how that one ended against the Katuitt Kettleers. All those calls courtesy of our Jacob Toby, who will be on the call again tonight. And we're looking forward to hearing from him in about 10 minutes. But first, we'll take a real quick break on Gatemen Pregame Live, presented by South Coast Health.
You want care when and where it's convenient for you. South Coast Health Urgent Care has 4 locations: Fairhaven, Wareham, and now in Seekonk and Dartmouth. You can view wait times and even check in online at southcoast.org/urgent-care. Choose the time and location that's best for you. We'll even remind you when it's time to come in, and walk-ins are always welcome. Urgent care that exists to meet your needs. More than you expected? That's more than medicine. Check in at southcoast.org/urgent-care.
Registration is now open for the 2017 Wareham Gatemen Youth Clinics. The instruction clinics are open to boys and girls between ages 4 and 15. The clinics are a great opportunity to meet and learn from some of the best collegiate players in the country. Clinics are held Monday through Friday, depending on the player's off day. For more information and to sign up your young ball player, visit www.gateman.org.
All-Star Game Weekend starts with a celebrity softball game on July 21st at McKeon Park in Hyannis. Come watch Jason Veritek, Bill Lee, Nancy Kerrigan, Scott Zolak, and other celebrities play ball in support of the Cape Cod Baseball League and Spalding Rehabilitation Hospital of Cape Cod. Gates open at 4 p.m. For more information and to buy tickets, go to allstarcapecod.org. That's allstarcapecod.org.
Registration is now open for the 2017 Wareham Gatemen High School Clinics. These programs are run by the Gatemen coaching staff with a focus on exposing high school area players to the college game. To sign up for either the hitting, pitching, or catching camps, visit www.gateman.org for more information.
Welcome back to the Gatemen Pregame Live, presented by South Coast Health. I'm Connor Federico. We're just about 9 minutes from first pitch, more like 8 minutes now from first pitch here in Bourne, Massachusetts. Happy July 4th to you, and we'll now get to today's starting lineups for this rivalry matchup. For the visiting Wareham Gatemen, starting in center field today and batting first is Stephen Kwan. He'll be followed by Robbie Metz, batting in the 2-hole and playing third base. Batting third and playing shortstop, it's Kyle Kasser out of Oregon. And out of Washington, batting in the cleanup spot and playing first base, it's Willie McIver. He'll be followed by Jake Anchia, who's batting fifth and catching tonight. Batting sixth in the DH role is Tristan Pompey from Kentucky. And the Yukon Husky John Topa, he'll bat seventh and play left field. Batting eighth, Jaron Duran. He'll play second base today, as he usually does. And rounding out the lineup, you heard the guys talk about him before, it's Nick Angelini batting ninth and playing right field. Once again, the pitcher for the Gatemen is Griffin Roberts from Wake Forest. Now moving over to the Bourne Braves, Jamison Hanna. He wears number 12. He'll bat first and play left field. Batting second, Grant Williams. He wears number 4 and plays second base today. Batting third, the Gatemen haven't seen Lyle Lynn before, but they'll see him tonight. He plays catcher. In the cleanup spot, it's Scott Schreiber. He plays first base. And batting fifth, Grant Witherspoon. He'll play right field tonight. And the shortstop batting sixth, it's Andrew Frigia. He'll wear number 2 and wearing number 1, and batting in that 7-hole, it's Richie Palacios, who will DH this time around against the Gatemen. Batting 8th, Jared Triolo. He'll play third base, and rounding out the lineup at number 9, it's Andy Atwood, wearing number 6 and playing center field. Andrew Crane, once again, getting his first start for the Bourne Braves tonight, and he will play center field. Now we'll toss it to Claudia Chakamian, who's with Coach Don Snedden.
Thank you, Connor. Coach, last time you guys played Bourne a few days ago, you guys were able to score early but kind of lost it throughout the rest of the game. So what are you guys trying to work on for today's game so that you have more consistent hitting throughout the entire game?
Well, you'd like to score more often. We sort of got shut down after we scored early, and you like to score early, but you also like to try to score all the time during the game. It keeps the other team down. You score once, it gives them an opportunity to get back into the game. So the more opportunities you get, the more times you can score, run here, run there, and there, and there. It actually keeps the momentum on your side.
So is there anything you guys worked on specifically today in BP to try and improve that?
No, they're still just, we challenge them with little different skills of driving the ball opposite field, hitting ground balls, the infield back. I mean, every batting practice is organized in such a way that we try to challenge the hitters and not just what we call a kumbaya batting practice, which means they just get to swing from the rear ends and try to hit home runs, because that's not the way the game's played.
Have you noticed anything about the offense overall in this almost first half of the season about when the hitters are at the plate, anything different with their swings or anything?
Yeah, we're going after too many bad pitches. It sucks. We've been a real bad ball hitting team, and you just can't do that at this level. Nobody can hit the pitches that they're swinging at. So they got to be more disciplined to plate, or it's going to be a long summer for some of them if they don't find that discipline very quickly.
Nick Angelini had a few days off, and now he's back in the lineup today, batting ninth. So what are you hoping to see from him at the plate to give the bottom of the order some extra oomph?
Well, he's in there for his defense. Any offense he gives us, I'm happy with that. But this is a big park. Right field's a big yard, and it plays a little different. It's got a curved outfield, so he's in there because of his defensive ability, and any offense he can give us, obviously, be welcome.
And what did you like in Griffin Roberts' last start, and what are you hoping he can do similarly tonight?
Well, same thing. He just, he was able to keep him off bay with his off-speed pitches. And again, we've talked many times in this league, you got to be able to throw an off-speed pitch and a fastball count. If you challenge him constantly with fastballs and you don't locate, you're going to get punished.
Great. Thanks, Coach.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Claudia. We're going to take a quick break here on Gatemen Pregame Live, presented by South Coast Health, but not before we remind you that you can email us anytime at pressbox@gateman.org. Again, that's pressbox@gateman.org. We'd love to hear your questions, comments, and concerns at any time, so please feel free to send those at gateman@pressbox.org. And not to mention, you can follow everything all Gatemen all the time, 24/7 at Wareham Gatemen on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, SoundCloud, and YouTube. We'll take a quick break. Game time on the other side of this pitch. On the break.
Care when and where it's convenient for you. South Coast Health Urgent Care has 4 locations: Fairhaven, Wareham, and now in Seekonk and Dartmouth. You can view wait times and even check in online at southcoast.org/urgent-care. Choose the time and location that's best for you. We'll even remind you when it's time to come in, and walk-ins are always welcome. Urgent care that exists to meet your needs. More than you expected? That's more than medicine. Check in at southcoast.org/urgent-care.
Her 3rd semester at the Boston Conservatory at Berkeley this fall. She is studying vocal performance and opera and is currently learning piano and organ as well. Jillian is the children's choir director and a cantor at St. John the Evangelist and graduated from Bourne High School in 2015.
Strike.
is our Youth Clinic All-Star for this week. He is Jackson ESP, and he will be throwing to our clinic director.
Well, it's the home of the Braves on a night dedicated to the home of the Brave, and who else better to send it to but Jacob Toby and Sam Corman. Guys, have a great call. I'll see you again soon.
Wow, that was such a great transition, don't you think?
And that national anthem was unbelievable. No offense to you, but I think that was the best one we've heard all year.
Hey, no offense taken. She goes to school for music. What do I go to school for? This.
Yep. Okay. Good point.
All jokes here on the Gatemen Baseball Network. Jacob Toby alongside Sam Corman. We just heard from Connor Federico, host of Gatemen Pregame Live, and we're going to hear from Claudia Chikamian in a little bit. Glad you could join us here on July 4th. How you feeling on this day?
Great, and a special thanks to the Bourne Braves and their broadcast crew and everyone in the organization for allowing us to use this camera feed right now, for allowing us to use their wonderful broadcast space up here. Unfortunately, they had some technical difficulties with some camera equipment. Their broadcast is not here, but I know they're deferring their fans over to our broadcast. We thank all the Bourne Braves fans for joining us today here on the Wareham Gatemen Baseball Network. So that's pretty awesome stuff, Jacob.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome stuff, and there was a reason why we're doing this. It's because their broadcasts had a little bit of an issue going with equipment and whatnot, so hey, they're nice enough to let us do this, and it's going to be a fun day here at Bourne Park. I mean, the starting lineups are being announced right now on the field. We just had a great national anthem. Everyone, like I said, in the open at the beach today, got a great crowd on hand.
Yeah, a phenomenal crowd here in Bourne. As you can see, the fans lining the stadium. 4th of July, always one of the best showings of fans here around the Cape for sure, so a big crowd on hand.
When you talk about this field, Bourne Park being played at Upper Cape Regional Technical High School, we had a discussion about this off the air. You were kind of wondering, or someone was wondering rather.
It was Connor.
It was Connor Federico wondering what this school actually does. But hey, it's a regional technical school.
Yeah, it's a regional tech school. It means it brings in kids from around the area, not just Bourne, and it allows them to kind of pursue a certain interest area within high school. And that's a great thing to have. As you know, my stepbrother attended one of those tech schools, and it really helped him find what he wanted to do. He wanted to be an environmental scientist, and he went to the tech school, and now he's well on his way to being an environmental scientist. So shout out to Chase in Pensacola, Florida, for teaching me about the benefits of the tech schools around the U.S.
Let's take a look at the Wareham starting lineup presented by Chatham Bars. And Stephen Kwan is the center fielder today. He leads it off. Robbie Metz at third, bats second. Kyle Kassler, the shortstop, bats third. Willie McIver at first, bats fourth. Jake Anchia doing the catching tonight, batting fifth. Tristan Pompey down to the 6th hole tonight. He's the DH. John Topa in left field, bats seventh. Jaron Duran at second base, bats eighth. Nick Angelini, the right fielder, bats ninth. Let's take a look at the defense real quick. For the Bourne Braves, Jared Triolo is the third baseman. Andrew Freejay at shortstop. Grant Williams at second. Scott Schreiber at first. Left to right in the outfield, Jamison Hanna, Andy Atwood, Grant Witherspoon. Lyle Lynn does the catching for Andrew Crane.
Yeah, Andrew Crane coming in here. A great story out of Troy University in Alabama. A teammate of a former Gateman, Brandon Lockridge, out of Troy as well. And, you know, a phenomenal story. Was cut by his high school baseball team, almost ended up quitting the sport entirely, and now here he is pitching in one of the best collegiate leagues. Got a great breaking ball. He's got a great fastball as well that complements it. And you know, it's exciting to watch a guy that's overcome a lot to get to this point, and I think that with that said, he's ready.
Umpires tonight, Richard Jr. Cacciatore behind the plate. James Fonseca at first base. Ronald Adams is the third base umpire. Stepping in now, Stephen Kwan, showing bunt, pulling it back, taking strike one from Andrew Crane, and we're underway here at Bourne Park. The Bourne Braves in their white uniforms, white shirts, white pants, red numbers and letters. As this pitch taken for strike, quickly 0-2. Wareham in their blue uniforms, blue shirts, gray pants, red numbers.
Yeah, I read something on Stephen Kwan the other day. His teammate Nick Madrigal, who was supposed to be on the Gatemen, as this pitch comes in, we'll save the story for after.
0-2 pitch, breaking ball just a bit outside, 1-2.
But Nick Madrigal basically said about Stephen Kwan, he's a guy that can do it all. And coming from a guy that can basically do it all in Madrigal, Stephen Kwan's a guy that can run the bases, he can hit, he can field.
Crane's 1-2 line past the glove of the third baseman Triolo and Freejay. And Kwan reaches first base, so the Gatemen find themselves with a runner on first base. Their leadoff hitter, Kwan. It's going to be ruled a hit.
Yeah, tough play for the third baseman, Triolo, getting over there, and that deflection off his glove may have gone to the opposition of Bourne's shortstop, Frige, and because of that, he was unable to handle it. He might have had a play going behind Triolo had he not touched it, but Kwan's also very fast over there, so it's a good placement. He's also very good at finding the holes between the infield. I've noticed that early on, is Kwan's ability to hit infield through the right, through the left side. It's been pretty impressive.
Robbie Metz stepping in. Kwan fakes going to second. The pitch is hit to the second baseman anyway. They'll flip to second for one, on to first. And a 4-6-3 double play. There are 2 outs in the top of the first, no score.
You know, he might have hit into a double play there, but I like the approach of Robbie Metz getting up, swinging at the first pitch. Good pitch selection for him. That was one of the themes of yesterday's loss. They were swinging at bad pitches, taking some good fastballs in the zone, and right there, that fastball, Metz recognizes it, swings in the first pitch, unfortunately right to the second baseman, Williams, who is in double play depth.
Kyle Kasser steps in, 286 on the year, no homers, 3 runs batted in. 2 outs in the inning, no score, top of the first here at Dorn Park. Ball 1 taken inside by Kasser, who's at shortstop today.
Yeah, interesting placement. He's in at third, but we know he's so good defensively he can play basically anywhere in that infield.
1-0 becomes 2-0 as the breaking ball misses low, hits the dirt. Wind blowing out to left center field today. Here at Dorn Park in Bourne, Massachusetts. It's the Wareham Gatemen taking on the Bourne Braves. Crane's 2-0 pitch is taken on the outside part for strike 2-1.
That slider coming in off that outside part of the plate. You know, it's the same kind of thing that Griffin Roberts likes to execute on the left-handed batters as well, but that slider perfectly placed on that outside corner.
Crane winds, kicks, and deals. Broken bat, hit right to the first baseman Schreiber. He'll flip to the pitcher Crane, and that will end the inning. So the Gatemen, no runs, 1 hit, no errors, and no man left on. We're headed to the bottom of the first here at Dorn Park. No score between the Gatemen and the Bourne Braves. You're listening to Wareham Gatemen Baseball on the Gatemen Baseball Network.
When you're sick or injured, you want care when and where it's convenient for you. South Coast Health Urgent Care has 4 locations: Fairhaven, Wareham, and now in Seekonk and Dartmouth. You can view wait times and even check in online at southcoast.org/urgentcare. Choose the time and location that's best for you. We'll even remind you when it's time to come in, and walk-ins are always welcome. Urgent care that exists to meet your needs. More than you expected? That's more than medicine. Check in at southcoast.org/urgentcare.
The Down East Lobster Roll combos are back at the 99 restaurants. Visit today in Centerville, Falmouth, Mashpee, Wareham, or Yarmouth for the best value for lobster rolls on the Cape. The 99, proud sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League.
Back here at Dorn Park in Bourne, Massachusetts. Wareham Gatemen coming in at 8-11. The Bourne Braves 11-8. Jacob Toby alongside Sam Corman. Let's take a look at the Bourne Braves starting lineup. And for the Braves, Jameis Hanna will be leading it off. He's the left fielder. Grant Williams bats second. He's playing second base. Lyle Lynn, the catcher, he bats third. Scott Schreiber, the first baseman, bats fourth. Grant Witherspoon in right bats fifth. Andrew Frige, the shortstop, bats sixth. Richie Palacios is the DH today. Jared Triolo at third bats eighth. Andy Atwood, the center fielder, bats ninth. Taking a look at the Gateman defense, Robbie Metz is at third. Kyle Kasser, the shortstop. Jaron Duran at second. Willie McIver is the first baseman. Left to right in the outfield, John Topa, Stephen Kwan. Nick Angelini gets his first start in right field tonight, and Jake Anchia doing the catching for Griffin Roberts.
Yeah, Griffin Roberts, his last outing just showed how impressive this guy is at Wake Forest University, North Carolina. And that slider, what we saw from the Bourne pitcher, Andrew Crane in the top half of the first, it's basically the same thing coming in from that left batter's box, or that right-handed batter's box, coming in off the outside corner and catching that corner. It's especially tough for right-handed batters as it kind of jams inside of them. And Roberts struck out the side in the first 2 innings he pitched in the last outing against Falmouth. Granted, 5 of those strikeouts of the 6 were looking, so that's the kind of stuff he has.
Jamison Hanna taking first pitch outside for ball 1. Hanna on the year, 176. No home runs, 4 RBIs. This pitch swung past the dive of the second baseman Duran into center field for a leadoff single. Jamison Hanna finds his way on first base.
Good piece of hitting by Hanna there, not waiting to scope out the pitcher Roberts. He just got up there. He said, all right, I'm going to wait for a good pitch in the strike zone. I'm just going to swing. Not trying to scout the pitcher too much, not trying to overthink it. Just comes up there swinging, and a good piece of hitting by Hanna. And now he's a leadoff guy. He's on base. Got to watch out for the Gateman defense.
Grant Williams, the second baseman, stepping in from the left side. 327, no home runs, 4 runs batted in. Hanna is the runner at first. First pitch taken for strike, 0-1. We've got no score, bottom of the first between the Gatemen and the Braves. As they refer to on the scoreboard here at Dorn Park, the G-Men.
I don't know why that is.
Roberts finally kicks and deals. 1 ball and 1 strike.
I actually never really recognized that the G-Men was kind of in the name, and it also is a nickname of, course, the New York Giants, and I kind of like it. The Wareham G-Men.
Jamison Hanna at first base, reached on a single. Roberts looks him over at first base, waiting to deal to Grant Williams. Here comes the 1-1 pitch. High chopper in the infield. Coming over is the shortstop Castro. They go to second for 1, too late to first. Can't get the double play. So Hanna is staying at second base.
Looks like he was safe at second as well. That's probably why Duran felt the desperate need to throw to first after that play, is because he didn't get the out at second, so he was trying for 1 at first. But tough play there for Castro on that weird bounce. But, his judgment should have been better, and he should have known to go to first on that play with not a lot of time to work with. Hanna very fast getting into second there.
A high chopper in the infield allows Williams to come on. First 2 batters reached on singles here for the Bravos, and it's Lyle Lynn, the catcher, stepping in. He takes a first pitch strike, 0-1. Lyle Lynn, 298, no home runs, 8 ribbies on the year. Hanna, the runner at second. Williams, the runner at first. No score, bottom of the first between the G-Men and the Braves.
The Bravos, as you just said.
Swung and hit foul to the netting just in front of the fans here down the third base line. No balls and 2 strikes.
Yeah, a great setup for the Braves fans down the third base line here with the ledges, kind of allowed them to sit on and to set up their own chairs. Kind of similar to the Orleans Firebirds down the first base line where they have that hill and fans like to sit on it.
Runners at first and second, no outs, bottom of the first. Swung on and missed.
There was that devastating slider from Griffin Roberts. Just starts on the middle of the plate.
That strikeout brought to you by the law offices of Lang, Exafaris, and Bullard. 1 gone. So first strikeout of the night from Griffin Roberts. And now Scott Schreiber stepping in. 259, 1 home run, and 10 RBIs. Getting his signs from third base coach Harvey Shapiro, who's the manager here for the Bourne Braves in his 15th season. First pitch from Roberts. Slider in for a strike. Shapiro, again, 15th season with the Braves, all-time leader in wins. He's got 20 playoff wins as well. 2 of those coming last year against the Wareham Gatemen, the clinching game, game number 2, right here at Dorn Park. Looking back, the runner at second is Roberts. Here comes the 1-0, and that's lined into right field for a base hit. Rounding third, heading home is Hanna. The throw from the right fielder's not going to be in time, and it's going to be 1-0 in favor of the Bravos. Going to second base is Grant Williams. To third, Grant Williams. To second, Scott Schreiber.
Yeah, a good hit, piece of opposite field hitting there off of Roberts by Scott Schreiber there. But a tough play by the right fielder, who today is Nick Angelini. He should have thrown that into the cutoff man. Instead, he missed him. And because of that, the hitter, Schreiber, was able to advance to second on that throw when he could be standing at first right now. But another defensive miscue. You mentioned that in the pregame.
Grant Witherspoon, the batter from the left side, takes the first pitch strike. 236. No homers, 9 runs batted in. You heard that music after every run for the Braves. It's the Tomahawk Chalk. Very, very famous here at Bourne Park. The 0-1 pitch taken for a strike. No balls and 2 strikes.
Yeah, the Tomahawk chop used almost everywhere. It's used at for the Atlanta Braves, of course. For the Kansas City Chiefs, use it a lot. The Florida State Seminoles are probably most known for it. They get all 100,000 of those guys going with the Tomahawk chop at once. It's a pretty cool sight out there in Tallahassee.
Roberts 0-2, sent on to the third baseman Metz. Now looking the runner at third, Williams. They're going to tag him out in the base path for out number 2. So Metz throws it to his catcher, Anchia, who tags out the runner, Williams. Advancing to first base on the fielder's choice is Witherspoon. To third goes Scott Schreiber.
Good play by Metz, but also a failure in fundamental base running by Grant Williams there at third. You got to know that a ground ball to the left side, you have to wait a little bit, go back, and then maybe if he goes to first too early without checking on you, then you go. But instead he got caught in the rundown.
Andrew Freejay, the shortstop. 195, 1 home run, 4 runs batted in, leads the team in strikeouts with 16. Runners on first and third, 1-0 lead for the Braves, and Freejay takes a first pitch strike. Bottom of the first here at Bourne Park. Happy July 4th. Thanks for watching Wareham Gatemen Baseball and Bourne Braves Baseball here on the Gatemen Baseball Network, as we're in conjunction with Bourne tonight on the broadcast. 0-1, whiffed at and missed. Quickly 0-2.
You'd like to see Roberts get this recovery here. 1 strikeout already in this inning, but trying to work with that slider. It's really, and here with a right-handed batter especially, it's going to be tough for Andrew Freejay to get used to that slider on his first at-bat. You'll see it probably coming from the inside part of the plate.
0-2, called strike 3. Freejay down looking, and the side is retired. That strikeout brought to you by the law offices of Lang, Exafaris, and Bullard. So the Bravos, they score 1 run on 3 hits, no errors, and 2 men left on. They lead it 1-0. You're listening to Wareham Gatemen Baseball on the Gatemen Baseball Network.
Listen to the game wherever you go with the Next Radio app. Catch this station's local broadcast or stream all the action right on your phone. Visit the Google Play Store and download the free Next Radio app today.
Baseball Factory, a proud partner of the Cape League since 1991, holds over 600 events nationwide for players ages 8 through 18, including 3 training weeks here in the Cape. Baseball Factory alumni have played on every Division I college program across the nation, plus 400 have made it to the majors. Visit baseballfactory.com to learn how you can build your way to greatness.
Friendly's Restaurants, a timeless tradition since 1935, is proud to be the official ice cream of the Cape Cod Baseball League and bring together 2 of America's favorite pastimes, baseball and ice cream.
Top of the second at Bourne Park. Jacob Toby alongside Sam Corman, Connor Federico, our host on hand, Maddie Feld, our beat writer, and Claudia Chikamian, our sideline reporter. The Gatemen trailing it 1-0 to the Bourne Braves. Willie McIver is going to be the first batter for the Gatemen. Crane's first pitch drops a bit low to McIver, 1-0. McIver, 333, 1 home run, 9 RBIs.
Can't say enough about William McIver. He's reached base safely in 18 of the 19 games this year.
1-0 becomes 2-0 very quickly. 2 balls and no strikes.
Yeah, 18 of the 19 games reaching base safely is pretty impressive. What's even more impressive is he's gained the confidence of the staff to be in this lineup every single day.
Takes ball 3 outside, so 3 straight balls thrown from Andrew Crane.
Yeah, and this is where William McIver thrives, especially is being ahead in the count. He's so good at working walks, and he's ahead in the count 3-0 here. It'll be interesting to see if he decides to take a risk on a pitch in the zone.
3-0, 4 straight balls thrown to William McIver, so a leadoff walk from Andrew Crane. Crane making his CCBL debut tonight for the Bourne Braves. 6'4", 190-pound right-handed pitcher out of Troy. He's a rising senior.
Yeah, I look for him to be good early on for the Braves, and if he can do that, I think with his early run support, they'll be in good shape today against the Gatemen. But the Gatemen hitters are coming off a slumpy day against Katuitt, in which they faced a pitcher in Zane Collins who threw 117 pitches, an unheard of performance in the Cape Cod Baseball League. I'm sure Crane won't be going that deep.
Jake Anchia, the catcher, stepping in for the first time tonight. Strike one call from home plate umpire Richard Cacciatore. Anchia on the year, 205, 3 bombs and 8 runs batted in.
He's probably been the nicest surprise for this Gateman lineup, adding the most power for sure. He's leading the team in home runs.
0-1 pitch, outside, 1-1. Breaking ball seems to be missing early on here in this second inning.
Yeah, that slider not quite working as well as he'd like it to, but I'm sure with Crane's experience being a rising senior, I'm sure he knows how to adjust. And with the righty batter here, kind of has an advantage with that slider.
Anchia was 0 for 5 last time versus Bourne against pitcher Daniel Bees. Struck out as well. 1-1 becomes 1 ball and 2 strikes with William McIver at first base. He walked to lead off the inning. Bravo's up 1-0 over the G-Men.
William McIver, I would like the hit and run right here because William McIver leading the second in the CCBL right now in stolen bases behind Falmouth's Hunter Steinmetz, who is just ridiculous with speed. So
check over first base. McIver diving back safely. Yeah, point streak finally fixed McIver's stolen base totals. It was at 7 for a little while when it should have been 8. He had a stolen base versus Katuitt.
Did you submit that complaint?
Matty Feld did, our beat writer.
Okay.
1 ball and 2 strikes. Here comes Crane's pitch. And Chia fooled on the breaking ball. It works there. He goes down swinging, 1 gone.
That was a really good breaking ball from Crane. And probably the best one we've seen so far. And Chia just swung right through it. And now Pompey.
Tristan Pompey DHing again tonight. Sitting at 188 on the year. 2 home runs, 7 runs batted in. McIver still the runner at first. 1 out, 1-0 Bravos. Breaking ball low, 1-0.
And once again, I just mentioned the hit and run with Anchia at the plate. I really like to see William McIver not even hit and run, just steal a base right here. Get him in scoring position early on in this game. Every base so important. Getting a guy in scoring position for the middle of your lineup would be key for the Gatemen.
1-0 swung on and missed. Count now even, 1 ball and 1 strike.
And once again, you go back to pitch selection that Daryl Maxwell was talking about last night. And that slider, a tough pitch to hit, might have been outside. Pompey decided to go for it. So he's a prime example of needing to improve his pitch selection is Pompey.
Crane delivers the 1-1, runs inside. Turning away was Pompey, the left-handed batter. He's actually a switch hitter batting from the left side right now versus the right-hander Andrew Crane. Count 2 balls and 1 strike with 1 out, runner on first, 1-0 Braves.
And Pompey decided to hit from the right side during the home run derby, although both of his home runs this year in the Cape League have been from that left side.
McIver thought about going, now he scurries back to first. Interesting move there from William McIver, who's over there at first.
And our first base coach looked at him and he's like, "Don't jump the gun a little bit too much there, Willie."
Sean Callahan calling everything over at first base. Here comes the 2-1. Pompey sends it on to the second baseman Williams. To second, to first, and the first baseman dropped it, but they're going to call him out anyway. No, they'll be safe. So James Fonseca will call Pompey safe at first. So McIver is gunned down at second for the second out of the inning. Pompey reaches on the fielder's choice. Weird and interesting play there.
Yeah, the umpire at first base today, Fonseca, did not see that the first baseman, Schreiber, dropped the baseball. And it was a close play over there at first, but...
Schreiber walked all the way to the dugout. That's why he was taking so long to get back to his position. He thought he had the out easily.
Oh, he didn't know he had the glove. He didn't know he had the ball. He didn't have the ball in his glove. You got to have the ball to make the out.
This brings up John Topa, 333, no home runs, 5 RBIs. So now Pompey is at first with 2 outs in the inning. Wareham trailing 1-0. First pitch, breaking ball in for a strike, 0-1.
And one of the positives of that game is the Gatemen tried against Katuitt the other day. The Gatemen tried to mount a rally late in the 8th inning. They had some runners on base, and it was all because of John Topa coming in and getting a nice pinch hit single. So he's riding off that.
Just missing was another breaking ball, so the count now even, 1 ball and 1 strike.
But if that slider is going to be like that all day for Andrew Crane, he'll be in great shape. That thing was nasty coming in from the inside corner and out a little bit outside there.
Check over on Pompey. Nothing doing. Yeah, I wouldn't want to be in the batter's box right now facing the slider. Tell you that much.
Yeah, on that right side. It looks like it's gonna hit you, and then it comes in to the strike zone. Tough pitch to hit.
Pompey started going towards second. Now he's caught in a pickle. Now the shortstop, Free J, easily tags him out. And Pompey stranded on the base paths. He is gunned down to end the inning. So no runs on no hits, no errors, no men left on. We head to the bottom of the second. The Braves still up 1-0. You're listening to Wareham Gatemen Baseball on the Gatemen Baseball Network.
We appreciate and thank the sponsors who support the Cape League and the 10 teams. Our corporate sponsors are the financial backbone of the league. It is with their support that we are able to preserve our long-standing tradition of providing the best family entertainment here on Cape Cod. On behalf of the visiting team, the Wareham Gatemen, league officers, and the entire Cape League family, we would like to announce and thank our 2017 corporate sponsors. With much appreciation, we recognize the Yawkey Foundation, Chatham Bars Inn, the Fuller Family Foundation, Dunkin' Donuts, Curry College, Cape Cod Healthcare, the 99 Restaurants, Coca-Cola Bottling of Cape Cod, Cape Cod Potato Chips, Friendly's Ice Cream, Baseball Factory, Cape and Island License Plate, 47 Brand, Cape Cod 5 Cents Saving Bank, Stop and Shop, Peapod. We'll be back to you in the next inning for the second half of this outstanding list of loyal sponsors.
Bottom of the second at Doran Park, a 1-0 lead for the Bourne Braves over the Wareham Gatemen. Jacob Toby, along with Sam Corman, bringing you 4th of July baseball tonight here in Bourne, Mass. Glad you could join us. Richie Palacios, the DH, will lead it off against Griffin Roberts, who struck out Andrew Freejay looking to end the first inning. Palacios, 265 on the year as he takes a first pitch ball. No home runs, 4 RBIs.
And our Connor Federico is big on Richie Palacios, former Hamptons League player. That's where Connor came from as well.
Pitch is up high, now 2-0. Again, we last saw Griffin Roberts on June 28th versus Falmouth. Went 5 innings in that start, struck out 7 batters. Pitch taken out on the outside part for a strike, 2-1. Only 1 earned run. 3 hits, 2 walks, was pretty good. 2-1 from Roberts up high. Now a nice hitter's count here for Palacios. 3 balls and 1 strike.
Yeah, it looks like Griffin Roberts' fastball hasn't been working too well for him so far today. He wants to improve on that, get it in the strike zone.
This one chopped, or sent rather, out to left field. And Topa retires him for out number 1. We have a poll to announce here tonight on the Gateman Twitter page. It's our July 4th poll. Which Jaron Duran USA themed accessory would you rather sport? His socks or his batting gloves? You have to go on Twitter and vote because there's pictures of both his striped socks and his USA-themed batting gloves. So that's our poll right now on the Wareham Gatemen Twitter page. Make sure to go and vote for that. One out in the inning. And Jerry Triolo swings at the first pitch, sent out to right field. Coming in is Angelini, sliding and making the catch for out number 2.
Yeah, tough placement for Triolo, but again, good contact on Griffin Roberts. Just looks like he's having a little bit of trouble locating that fastball and kind of getting hit around a little bit by these Bourne hitters, but getting some good help from both of his outfielders out there, Angelini and Topa.
So 2 quick outs for Griffin Roberts and the Gateman defense. Ball 1 taken by Andy Atwood, the center fielder, who's 2 for 10 on the year. Does have an RBI, has struck out 4 times and walked once. Roberts delivers a pitch inside, 2-0. Roberts 91 to 95 on his fastball, has great sink, nice swing and miss slider. The 2-0 pitch is inside, 3-0.
Here was that fastball again, once again missing the zone. And if he wants to be able to use that slider to his advantage, he has to make sure the fastball is locating first before he can use the slider.
Here comes Roberts' 3-0 pitch, up and in. And he walks Andy Atwood for the first time tonight. Gateman pitching staff never walks anyone. They have the least walks as a staff throughout the Cape Cod Baseball League, now 46 on the year.
And the pitching in general has been really good. They've only given up they've given up fewer runs than every single team in this league except for the Orleans Firebirds, who at this point look like the best team in the Cape League. They've won 9 in a row at 13-6 right now, I believe.
Jamison Hanna, the left fielder. First pitch drops in for a strike, rather not dropping, but sliding in, as they call that the slider.
Slid in from a mile away and came in towards the middle part of the plate. But with that lefty batter, that can once a hitter like Hanna scouts out that slider, it can be a good pitch to hit.
Runner on first base is Atwood. 0-1. Nice strike there on the outside part. No balls and 2 strikes with 2 outs and a 1-0 lead for the Braves.
Not exactly how you write it up for Griffin Roberts, getting ahead in the count, but this time on 2 consecutive sliders. He'd like to get that fastball going as well to have some pitches to choose from, because right now it's been a little bit wild.
The check over at Atwood's at first, diving back safely. Close play. McIver maybe thought he got him, but it was a close call. So no balls and 2 strikes to Jamison Hanna, who singled and came around to score back in the first. 2 outs here in the inning. A check over again. This time, ball gets away from McIver's glove. Heading to second base is Atwood. He'll get there standing. Ball just comes out of McIver's glove at first, and now the runner in scoring position, it's Jamison Hanna.
Yeah, I don't get that. With 2 strikes and 2 outs in the inning, you got to focus on the batter here if you're Griffin Roberts. And Mully McIver, a little bit of a lesser experienced first baseman than the Gatemen have, and
0-2 on the outside corner. Ring 'em up. Strike 3. Hanna goes down looking to end the inning. That strikeout brought to you by the law offices of Lang, Exafaris, and Bullard. So, no runs, no hits, no errors. 1 man left on. Still 1-0 in favor of Bourne. You're listening to Wareham Gatemen Baseball on the Gatemen Baseball Network.
Continuing with our corporate sponsors, we also want to recognize and thank Franklin Sports, Advanced Embroidery, Cape Destinations, Robert B. R., Sullivan Tire, Vacation Inn Cape Cod, Cape Cod Veterinary Specialists, Cape Cod Times, Kinlan Grover Real Estate, Next Radio, Yellow Book, TSA, Rawlings, Cape Cod Chamber of Commerce, Highline Cruises, Sports Picks, On Deck Sports, Barnstable Bat, Hyannis Area Chamber of Commerce, HP Hood, Sunderland Printing, and Axis Bats. And of course, thank you to Major League Baseball for over 50 years of support.
Urgent care is now available at 4 Cape Cod healthcare locations: Hyannis, Falmouth, Sandwich, and Harwich. Open after hours and weekends, staffed by ER physicians. Expert care when you need it. Learn more at capecodhealth.org/urgent care.
We're in the third here at Bourne Park, the top of the third. Jacob Toby alongside Sam Corman. Claudia Chikamian on hand. We'll be hearing from Connor Federico in a little bit. John Topa, the left fielder, gets his at-bat and takes his first pitch strike, 0-1. We saw him last half inning.
Yeah, a little bit of unfinished business for Topa as his base runner Pompey was thrown out. But you know he's coming up here looking for a hit.
0-1 quickly becomes 0-2, and Topa now has got to maybe choke up a little bit. No balls and 2 strikes. So it's 1-0 in favor of Bourne. 1 run on 3 hits, no errors. Gatemen have an error. That one charged to Griffin Roberts. This one nicked slowly. Coming in is Williams from second base. Flips with his glove. The ball is dropped by the first baseman Schreiber. And Topa's on first base. Would have been a nice play from Grant Williams.
Yeah, I think that'll be scored a hit, however, because it was a tough play in general, a slow roller to the first base side. And that if that is a hit, that will extend John Topa's hitting streak to 5 now.
It is officially ruled a hit, so it does so. 5-game hitting streak for John Topa.
And that, you know, that 4th hit game in the hitting streak, he had 1 at bat back against Katuitt. He came in as a pinch hitter and did a nice job. Almost mounted a little comeback there in the 8th for the Gatemen off of Zane Collins, the workhorse for Katuitt, but didn't get much hitting from the top of the order in that game. That's really what cost him.
The surprising workhorse, Zane Collins, that is.
Yes.
Check over at first, and Topa back safely.
Another thing I talked to Coach Maxwell about after that game was, I asked him, have you ever seen anything like that? And he's like, I've been here for 12 years, and I have never seen anything like that before in my life. And he said the only explanation is for that to be Zane Collins' last performance here on the Cape, and that might be the case with him.
Jaron Duran is at the plate right now. Sends this one out to deep left center field, falling fast, and that's going to be good for an extra base hit. Topa to third, and they're going to wave him home. Topa coming to the plate. Duran going to third. Topa's going to score. RBI triple for Jaron Duran. This game's tied up at 1.
Perfect placement opposite field by Jaron Duran, right between the outfielders. A little bit thinner grass here at Bourne Park in Bourne than Spillane Field, so that ball was able to roll all the way to the wall, and because of that, Duran really enjoyed it and was able to roll in with a triple.
So a triple for Jaron Duran, his 2nd of the season, gets his 3rd RBI of the season. Nick Angelini stepping in, 214, 1 home run, 4 runs batted in. He's got a chance to give the Gatemen the lead with Duran at third base. Swings at the first pitch and misses, 0-1.
We apologize for the inconsistent camera operating. I am the one operating the camera right now, as well as color commentating.
You don't have to tell them the secrets, you know.
I know, but I just want to, you know.
Nah.
All right, never mind then.
It wasn't
all right,
him.
I'm not the camera operator anymore.
0-1 to Nick Angelini with Duran at third. Pitch bounces, nicely blocked by Lyle Lynn, the catcher. 1-1.
But again, opposite field hitting is something the Gatemen pitching or the Gatemen coaching staff, has been working on with these hitters, and it's really showing up. You saw Topa, it might have been a grounder, but it went opposite field and he got a hit out of it. Duran opposite field into the outfield for a triple.
1-1 from Andrew Crane. Slider swooping in for a strike. 1-2.
Angelini turned his front hip on that pitch because it was about to hit him, and then it swooped right in there for a strike, and really good pitch from Crane.
I wouldn't just turn my hip, I would completely duck as I think it would hit me. Duran at third, 1-1 ball game. No outs in the inning. 1-2 pitch time called at the plate, and the pitcher, Crane, was just about to lift his leg.
An emphatic time by the home plate umpire, Cacciatore.
Put his hands up in the air.
Got to make sure everyone knows.
Crane delivers the 1-2. This one sent foul down the right field line and out of play. And that starts the chase for the foul ball from a lot of kids here at Bourne Park today. A nice crowd on hand.
Yes, a wonderful crowd. This first base side or third base side, is completely loaded, as well as that bleacher out there near the Gateman dugout.
1 ball and 2 strikes is the count. Andrew Crane, the pitcher. Nick Angelini is the batter. Jaron Duran is the runner at third. No outs in the top of the third, and a 1-1 ball game here at Bourne Park. Crane delivers the 1-2. Chopped slowly down the first base line, and it just goes foul right before the bag, the first place bag, so we'll do it again.
And that would have gotten the job done for Angelini. That would have got him an RBI had it stayed fair, as it was on the first base side. Doesn't look like the Bourne Braves are too worried about getting Durant out at home on this at-bat. Just trying to keep this inning manageable. And
so you sacrifice a run for an out here is what you're saying?
It looks like that's what they're doing based on their defensive stance right now. The infield is pretty far back. Maybe a grounder to third, maybe short. They might be able to get Durant, but he's so fast.
1 ball and 2 strikes. Here comes Crane's pitch, and that's called strike 3. Angelini disagreeing with the home plate umpire, Richard Cacciatore. That'll be the first out of this top of the 3rd inning.
Once again, a really good pitch there from Andrew Crane. Just caught that low outside corner, one of the toughest pitches to read if you're a batter, and one of the ones you're most hesitant to swing at when you're looking at it coming in on you, because it's so far outside and so low that you just don't want to swing. And that is exactly what happened to Nick Angelini right there.
Nick Angelini retired on the strikeout. Stephen Kwan coming up and swings at the first pitch, sends it on a ride to center field. Andy Atwood going back to make the catch. Coming home from third is Jaron Duran. The throw's cut off. Sac fly for Stephen Kwan. Gets the job done. Gatemen take a 2-1 lead at Dorn Park.
Yeah, Stephen Kwan's been so impressive this season. Had a hit back in the first inning. And since he got to the Gatemen, he has just been elite at the top of the order. He had a hit against Gatuit, also a walk in that game, advanced to scoring position twice in that game, and then in his first game against YD, he had a 2-hit performance with a run scored in an RBI. So Stephen Kwan is really stepping into this lineup and making an immediate impact.
Robbie Metz. First pitch strike, 0-1. Metz grounded into a 4-6-3 double play back in inning number 1. Pitch outside, 1 ball and 1 strike. So 2 outs in the inning. The Gatemen have scored 2. Jaron Duran an RBI triple. Stephen Kwan a sac fly. Here comes the 1-1, and it runs inside. Hits Robbie Metz on the slider. Missing badly, so Metz going down to first base with 2 outs.
Well, that's exactly what happens when that slider does not slide. And that one didn't, and it kind of slipped out of the hand of Andrew Crane, and he kind of knew it immediately that that one was going to hit Metz. And Metz doing the thing that the gut reaction is to turn your back, and that one hit him right in the backside.
Kyle Kasser stepping in, grounded out to first base, back in the first. Metz with some speed over on first right now. Takes a big lead. This one chipped into shallow left field, and it's in for a base hit. Metz rounding second, heading for third. The throw not in time. It's a little bit off. Staying at first base is Kasser. And now with 2 outs, the Gatemen have runners at the corners.
Yeah, phenomenal on both ends. Once again, Gatemen pitch selection so important in that first pitch. Kyle Kasser not waiting to swing, gets right in there, goes opposite field. Once again, every hit for this Gatemen team in this game so far has been opposite field. And another in a great base running job by Robbie Metz. No hesitation on that one, turning the corner at second and getting to third, using those wheels that he brought to the Gatemen last season as well.
Yeah, he was 4th in the league in stolen bases, Robbie Metz, in his all-star season last year with the Gatemen. William McIver coming up, ready to do some damage. He walked back in the second. So Metz at third, Kasser at first, 2 outs in the inning. Gatemen up 2-1. First pitch is a ball, 1-0.
You know, Billy McIver's really itching for an RBI right now. He had a lot of RBIs early on in the season, has kind of slowed down in that department, but the batting average department, the one that counts the most for individual performance, is not slowing down for Willie McIver.
Cranes 1-0 in the dirt. Nicely blocked by Lynn, the catcher. 2 balls and no strikes.
But you know he's definitely itching for that clutch hit. Coming into this game with 8 RBIs. 9, excuse me.
Metz at third, Kasser at first, 2 outs, and a 2-1 lead for Wareham. McIver at the plate. Here comes the 2-0. Becomes 3-0, and now Andrew Crane just 1 pitch away from loading him up.
Currently, Willie McIver in this game has faced 7 pitches. They've all been balls. So I don't know what it is with Crane kind of being afraid of Willie McIver in the batter's box or something, but I'm sure he's looking for a pitch to hit no matter what the count is. Crane trying to get out of this inning with limited damage, has 2 outs.
3-0 pitch is a little nibbler between first and second. Coming in is Williams, and he can't make the play. Scoring is Metz. Going to third is Kasser. Safe at first, Willie McIver. 3-1 in favor of Wareham.
It's a tough play for the second baseman in a hurry as he saw McIver was flying down the first baseline. And that adrenaline from knowing that you're in a hurry kind of caused him to lift his glove up off the ground a little bit too early.
So McIver, his 10th RBI of the season.
Does it count as a hit? Is it a hit for him? It depends on if they roll it a hit. It absolutely is, as we're getting the word from the official scorekeeper. And yeah, 10th RBI for the season for McIver. That leads the team. So once again, you mentioned that he was itching for a clutch hit. Goes opposite field nonetheless. Not quite out of the infield, but still using the bat to your advantage, kind of working the strike zone, takes an outside pitch, sends it out to the opposite field, what the Gatemen hitters have been doing all inning.
Jake Anchia is the batter, struck out swinging his first time up. Pitch runs high and inside on a fastball, 1-0. So Kyle Kasser now at third. McIver, the runner at first, 2 outs in the inning.
How about the running awareness of Kyle Kasser? Gets from first to third on that infield hit.
Crane's 1-0 is chipped down the right field line, and it sails foul.
It was almost a home run out there, 300 feet down there down the right field line. The pesky pole out here in right at Bourne, and it's a weird park because it has that 300-foot marker out there on the right field line, but then 360 just a little bit to the left of that in right field where the Gateman bullpen is. So definitely some room for especially left-handed batters to go out there and try to cut that corner down, kind of similar to some rare home runs at Fenway Park. It's really tough to do because there's not that much space, but it's something to look at.
Crane's 1-1. Breaking ball misses high and inside. 2 balls and 1 strike. Last year versus Bourne at Doran Park saw Gavin Sheets jack one out to 360. It was gone before we even knew it. Runners at the corners, 2 outs and a 3-1 lead for Wareham. Here comes the pitch. It's set high in the sky. Coming out to second baseman Williams. His right fielder Witherspoon calls him off, and Anchia is retired to end the inning. So the Gatemen get 3 runs on 3 hits, no errors, and 2 men left on. They now lead it 3-1. You're listening to Wareham Gatemen Baseball on the Gatemen Baseball Network. Now let's send it over to our Connor Federico. Connor?
Well, the Gatemen get 3 runs right there, Jacob, and it's a pretty interesting night of 4th of July baseball around the Cape Cod Baseball League. We'll first go to Lowell Park in Cotuit. It's the bottom of the 5th between the Falmouth Commodores and the Kettleers. 1-1 ball game right now. Both runs for each team were scored in the 4th inning. Willie Berger gets an RBI double to score Josh Bro in the top of the inning. And then it was Luke Alexander who gets an RBI to score Thomas Dillard for the Cotuit Kettleers. Now we'll move over to Harwich at White House Field. The score is 4-4. The Brewster Whitecaps just tied that ball game up. 3 hits for Brewster, 2 hits for Harwich. And that game is tied up. We'll keep an eye on that. That one's in the top of the 3rd. Now, a ball game that's been in progress for a while in the top of the 8th. We had the Hyannis Harbor Hawks and the Yarmouth Dennis Red Sox. YD has been kept scoreless through 7. And Hyannis has all the runs. A 3-run home run from Chris Proctor back in the 5th inning put Hyannis up big. And over in Orleans, we're awaiting the start of a game between the Chatham Anglers and the Orleans Firebirds. It's Hammer for Chatham, and it's Gilbert for Orleans. Still waiting the start of that one at 7 o'clock. Jacob and Sam, back to you guys at Doran Park in Bourne.
Thank you, Connor Federico. Happy 4th of July to everyone here listening to Wareham Gatemen Baseball on the Gatemen Baseball Network. As Connor said, Jacob Toby alongside Sam Corman.
Yeah, it's just a beautiful day for baseball here on the 4th of July. No better place to be than at the ballpark watching a good baseball game, especially the great talent that we have here on the Cape.
Griffin Roberts still on the hill for the Gatemen. They score 3 runs in the top of the third to take a 3-1 lead. Grant Williams showing bunt for Bourne, takes a strike as he pulled it back 0-1. Yeah, 5 hits total, 3 in that inning, or rather 4 in that inning.
Yeah, impressive stuff. All opposite field hits, all 4 of them. 2 of them were in the infield.
Pitch taken outside, 1-1.
This is an important inning for Griffin Roberts. He had a little bit of trouble in that second with 1 runner, but
Roberts throws it outside, so 2 balls and 1 strike to Grant Williams, the second baseman.
But nonetheless, he was able to recover a little bit from that rough first inning, so his stuff's gotten better a little bit slowly as this game's moved on, which happens to a lot of pitchers, even at the major league level.
Grant Williams sends this one foul over the snack shack in foul territory down the third base line.
Some hungry fans now hungry for a foul ball out there.
Hey, speaking of food, Gatemen fans last night tweeted hamburgers winning the contest for favorite 4th of July food. I agree. Here comes Roberts' 2-2 pitch. Sent up in the air, now in fair territory this time, coming in John Topa, the left fielder, makes the catch and retires Williams for the first out of the inning. The Gatemen Baseball Network would like to remind you that you can contact us anytime by emailing pressbox@gateman.org. Please feel free to send us your questions or comments. We'll make sure to address them as soon as possible. Keep up with all the Gatemen action as well 24/7 by following Wareham Gatemen on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and SoundCloud. 1 out in the inning and a 3-1 ball game in favor of the Wareham Gatemen. Lyle Lynn, the catcher, stepping in with 1 out in the bottom of the third.
Yeah, and Lyle Lynn's the guy that struck out swinging, was fooled by that slider in the first inning. You look for him to put together a more disciplined at-bat.
First pitch is outside on a slider, 1-0.
But now in the second time through the order, these guys have gotten a look at that Griffin Roberts slider. They know that it's his pitch, and they know that if it's coming on the inside corner, it's probably going to end up being a strike. So they know to swing now.
Chopped foul right near the bat boys down the third base line.
And there it was, Lyle Lynn coming in there, taking that slider and swinging at it. Fortunately, it's still a tough pitch to hit. Got over it, which is what Griffin Roberts is so good at doing, getting hitters to kind of swing over that slider, and a perfect example right there.
Lynn batting from the right side. Here comes Roberts, 1-1. Just missing for strike 2, so now it's 2 balls and 1 strike to Lyle Lynn. 1 out in the bottom of the third here at Dorn Park. Here comes the 2-1 pitch. Nicely put in on the outside part for a strike, 2-2.
Lyle Lynn low-key leading this Bourne Braves squad in hits this year.
Roberts, 2-2. Sent out to right field, and it's foul. Hits the hill, almost out to that 300 mark.
Almost got around the pesky pole there in right field, as I'm going to call it and continue to call it here tonight in Bourne. But
if it's going out down there, it's going out in 5 seconds.
Yes. And for a lefty batter trying to slice opposite field, it very well could get around there. It's just that one just a little bit too far to the right.
Roberts, 2-2 pitch. Roped foul right past Harvey Shapiro, who's coaching third base, who is in his 15th season managing the Bourne Braves. So the count now still even, 2 balls and 2 strikes with 1 out and a 3-1 lead for Wareham.
Yeah, look out, Harvey. That one was in there in a hurry. And the fans continue to pile in here in Bourne. They're lining the outfield now down the third baseline, even further down. And it's just gorgeous out here. Just past the Bourne Bridge, there's certain areas of this campus where you can see the bridge, and it's really cool having that in the background. Also some windmills out there.
2-2 pitch. Called strike 3. The crowd doesn't like it. Lynn doesn't like it. Griffin Roberts likes it. 2 outs in the inning. That strikeout brought to you by the law offices of Lang, Exafaris, and Bullard. That's the 4th strikeout tonight for Griffin Roberts.
Yeah, that slider, a little bit of a different action for Griffin Roberts. That one more towards the inside part of the plate, working outside. I think Lynn recognized that it was a slider and knew it was going to be on the outside part of the plate. Didn't swing. And that one was a little bit outside, but got the call from the home plate umpire today, Rick Cacciatore.
Scott Schreiber swings at the first pitch, and it sends it straight back to the netting, 0-1. And you talk about Harvey Shapiro, the manager here for the Bourne Braves. He has called the Cape League a national treasure. He is very, very emphatic about his work here on the Cape. The 0-1 pitch is missing low, 1-1.
And all these Cape League managers, Harvey Shapiro, Don Snedden, Kelly Nicholson out in Orleans as well, they all just love the Cape League, and they're all here for a long time.
1-1 pitch. Thought about going around, but holding up is Schreiber, 2-1.
But they just love the idea that they get to work with new guys every single summer and just see the difference that they get to make between the beginning of the summer and the end of the summer, and then watching them develop as players throughout college and then eventually to the MLB for some of them.
2-1. Runs a bit inside. Scooting out of the way is Schreiber, 3-1. So 2 outs in the inning. 3-1 ball game here in favor of the G-Men. 3-1 pitch from Roberts. Sent foul. This one not near Harvey Shapiro as much as the last foul ball, but still hits off the fence. And now the shortstop Kasser has to go out and get it. Throws it back. So the count full. 3 balls, 2 strikes to Scott Schreiber, who RBI doubled in the first. Payoff pitch in the infield. On to Duran at second. Takes the hopper. Throws on the run. And retires Schreiber to retire the side. 1-2-3 go the Bourne Braves. And we're headed to the 4th. It's 3-1 Wareham. You're listening to Wareham Gatemen Baseball on the Gatemen Baseball Network.
The Fuller Family Foundation is proud to support the excellent sportsmanship and character of the Cape Cod Baseball League.
Earn a bachelor's or master's degree, complete a certificate, or take a single course through the Division of Continuing Education and Graduate Studies at Curry College. Classes run days, evenings, and weekends in Milton and Plymouth. To learn more about programs in business, criminal justice, education, nursing, and more, visit curry.edu.
The Wareham Gatemen and the visiting team, the Cape Cod Baseball League, and the NCAA promote good sportsmanship by student athletes, coaches, and spectators. We request your cooperation and positive support of the participants and officials. Profanity, racial or sexist comments, or other intimidating actions directed at officials, student athletes, coaches, or team representatives will not be tolerated and are grounds for removal from this ballpark.
Top of the 4th at Doran Park. Gatemen leading this contest 3-1 over the Bourne Braves. And Stephen Kwan hacks at the first pitch, or rather Tristan Pompey hacks at the first pitch, 0-1.
Yeah,
pitch is low, 1-1.
Before the break, we were talking about managers who just love it here on the Cape. None more than John Schiffner, of course, out in Chatham, finishing up his tenure with the Chatham Anglers in the Chatham A's after 25 seasons.
1 ball and 2 strikes is the count now to Pompey, winningest manager in CCBL history. John Schiff.
Of course, 25 years, a quarter of a century.
1-2, breaking ball missing in the dirt. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Yeah, he gets emotional when talking about his time here on the Cape, about Veterans Field, his home, the home of the Chatham Anglers. The 2-2 pitch, framed by the catcher Lynn, outside. Now the count runs full. There's an interview where he did with one of the broadcasters. They asked him, what does Veterans Field mean to you? And he couldn't even go on. He started tearing up a bit. Cranes 3-2, fools Pompey. Ball comes out of the glove of Lynn, tags him anyway for out number 1.
I believe Veterans Field is one of the only field, if not the only field here, not kind of operated by a school. I think I'm right on this, where Chatham is like the only team in the Cape Cod League that actually like kind of owns the rights to that field completely. And
You may be right.
I might be, but I'm also just kind of speaking off a tangent here. I'm not sure exactly.
Believe you are right. John Topa swings and misses at the first pitch. 0-1. Harwich? No, Harwich is part of a high school. Part of Monomoy High School. Here comes the 0-1. Sent to the second baseman, Grant Williams. Bobbled it for a moment, then fires down to first base to retire Topa. 2 gone.
Yeah, and Lowell Park and Katuitt, of course, might be, but I think Lowell Park is operated by the city of Katuitt and Barnstable.
So 2 quick outs here in the 4th. Jaron Duran coming up. And last time he faced Andrew Crane, he cranked an RBI triple.
Yeah, you'd like to see more of that opposite field hitting from the Gatemen here in the 3rd inning, or here in the 4th inning, excuse me. And Jaron Duran, guy that hasn't been getting on base a ton, but when he does, he's so dangerous.
Showing bunt, but doesn't decide to go through with it. Takes a pitch outside, 1-0.
And one of these days, Jaron Duran's going to lay down one of those bunts perfectly and just fly down first base and shock the infield. But he just hasn't gotten the pitch to lay down a bunt. Usually when he's showing bunt, all the pitches are coming in outside.
1-0 pitch is hacked foul on top of Upper Cape Tech on the roof. 1-1.
That ball, a bunch of kids going to chase it down, but I don't think they're going to be able to find that one.
Unless they find a ladder. But that wouldn't be safe.
Yes, don't try this at home, kids.
I was going to say that, but then I didn't. But you did anyway. Duran awaiting the 1-1 from Crane. Inside, 2-1. 2 quick outs here in the top of the 4th. Wareham up 3-1 over the Bravos, as they like to say here at Dorn Park. Two-1. High chopper to second base. Williams, no problem with it. Goes to first. And it's a 1-2-3, top of the 4th inning for Andrew Crane. No runs, no hits, no errors, no men left on. We go to the bottom of the 4th. Wareham up 3-1. You're listening to Wareham Gatemen Baseball on the Gatemen Baseball Network.
Do you know what that sound is? That's your new digital marketing department. And that'll be your new web designer. And that's Haibu, where these experts are joined by many more, from web designers to search marketing specialists, who work hard to get your business noticed online and on mobile. Best of all, Haibu can do it all for you, or give you the tools to do it yourself. To find out more, go to haibu.com. That's HIBU.com, or call 855-464-HIBU. Oh, that'll be your next new customer. Haibu, made for business.
Red Shirt Fridays is a national program created to acknowledge, honor, and support our troops who put themselves in harm's way to defend our freedom. In support of this program, the Cape League teams will be wearing a specially designed red jersey every Friday. This special weekly celebration of Red Shirt Fridays is sponsored by 47 Brand, HP Hood, Cape Cod Regional Transit Authority, Advanced Embroidery, and the Cape League. Support our troops and join us by wearing red each Friday.
Griffin Roberts is back on the hill for the Wareham Gatemen. His team up 3-1. You're watching Wareham Gatemen Baseball and listening to it on the Gatemen Baseball Network. Jacob Toby alongside Sam Corman. We'll be hearing from Claudia Chikamian in a little bit.
And you're also watching Bourne Braves Baseball here on the Gatemen Baseball Network, as we are very thankful for them providing this video feed.
Grant Witherspoon, the batter, sends one between Duran at second and McIver at first. And a 1-pitch single for Witherspoon.
Yeah, not really sure on why Duran was kind of over in double play depth. It might have been a scouting report on Witherspoon up the middle, but kind of an interesting placement for Duran on that play. And because of that, there was a huge hole between his first baseman McIver and him at second. And that allowed Witherspoon to just recognize that and just knock it through the right side.
First pitch swinging this time is Free J, and it goes foul.
Yeah, just foul there, laced just around that first base line and barely landed in foul territory. A pretty generous warning track for the outfielders today as well in Bourne. I noticed that. It's a pretty large warning track out there in right, letting them know that there's a pretty low fence, so if they run into it, they might end up flipping over it.
Dude, you don't want that, though. That's
no, you
unsafe.
don't. Absolutely.
So Free-J struck out looking back in the first. Oh, 1 chop foul down the third baseline, 0-2. Kyle Marmon is warming up in the Bourne bullpen. Now the batter Free-J waiting to get some signs from Harvey Shapiro.
Marmon is a Florida Atlantic Owl. A lot of owls in college sports, most notably Temple and Florida Atlantic.
Roberts, here comes the 0-2. Fastball misses a bit low, 1-2. Witherspoon is the runner at first with no outs in the bottom of the fourth, a 3-1 lead for Wareham over Bourne. Free-J leads his team in strikeouts with 17. Here comes Roberts, 1-2. This one sent on a line to right field. Coming in is Angelini. Makes the catch, throws back at first. Not in time. Witherspoon back safely, but Free-J lines out to Angelini in right, 1 gone.
Yeah, really good hit by Free-J. Just tough placement once again. Kind of the same thing that Jaron Duran did, except he was able to find that gap. Unfortunately for Free-J, Angelini waiting for that one out there in right field. And he judged it very well. Can't overlook that judging of that fly ball, as we've seen some Gatemen players struggle with that, especially at Spillane Field. Seen Tanner Dotson kind of step back a little bit too much before coming in to play fly balls, and that's kind of affected him.
Richie Palacios, the DH, flew out to left. Back in the second, takes a strike on a fastball, 0-1. Witherspoon is the runner at first for the Braves. 1 out in the bottom of the fourth. Braves trailing it 3-1. Check over at first, and Witherspoon dives back safely.
It was close. Roberts, for a righty, has a very quick pickoff move. He's trying to fool those runners. Unfortunately, McIver's not behind the plate. We've seen him throwing out lots of runners from back there on pickoff attempts after the pitch.
Ball taken outside and low, 1-1 to Richie Palacios.
Of course, that's no disrespect to Jake Anchia. He's done a phenomenal job behind home plate as well, and he's had some beautiful throws down to second base to prevent stolen bases earlier in this season as well. So good, 2 good catchers for the Gatemen.
1-1 becomes 1-2.
And there was that swooping slider, so dangerous from Roberts, and Palacios stared at it. He had no chance of swinging, as he thought that one was going to be a mile outside. But Anchia knew, and he waited for it right on the outside corner on the glove.
1 ball and 2 strikes with 1 out and a runner on first base. Here comes the pitch to Palacios. He fouls it just to the top of the netting here at Dorn Park, and it bounces back on to the field behind home plate. One of the Bat Boys coming to get it.
Great effort there by the Bat Boy. One of the best programs that this Cape League does, honestly, every day, getting young kids who really love these players and love watching these games, getting them to come out here, stand on the field with them.
1-2 pitch is sent on the ground to Duran. Only plays at first. He retires Palacios for out number 2. Advancing to second, Grant Witherspoon.
Good awareness by Duran to know not to go to second on that play, as it was a slow roller. Probably wouldn't have had enough time to get Witherspoon.
Make sure to go on the Wareham Gatemen Twitter page and vote in our new poll, July 4th poll. Which Jaron Duran USA-themed accessory would you rather sport? His USA socks or his USA batting gloves? Jared Triolo, the third baseman, stepping in for his first step back. Cranks one out to center field. Coming in is Quan, and it falls right before him. Rounding third and scoring is Witherspoon. To second going is Triolo. It is 3-2. Bourne getting back a run.
Yeah, just a little play like that, like Richie Palacios with that ground out to the right side, able to advance was Witherspoon, and now all of a sudden he was in scoring position, and he was able to get around and score on that single from Triolo. And then once again, a tough play by the outfielder there. Tough decision in particular by the outfielders to decide whether to throw home or not. And in that situation, you might have thought that he had a chance at home, but it looked like he didn't ultimately, and it probably should have been cut off to prevent that runner from getting to second.
Andy Atwood takes a first pitch strike on the outside part, 0-1. So now 3-2. Wareham still leads it with 2 outs in the bottom of the 4th. Griffin Roberts, the pitcher. Andy Atwood, the batter. Runner on second base is Triolo. Pitch is low, 1-1.
Andy Atwood and Stephen Kwan are outfield mates out at Oregon State, familiar with each other, so I'm sure they'll be communicating after the game or before the game. Probably already did. Always good to see teammates getting together here for opposing teams here in the summer leagues.
Atwood awaits the 1-1, takes it for a strike, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Speaking of Oregon State, Jordan Britton warming up in the Wareham bullpen.
Awesome. You'd love to see a Jordan Britton versus Andy Atwood matchup at some point in this game. We love to see Jordan Britton in general. Hasn't performed yet for this Gateman team, just recently arriving, and I'm really excited to see what he has to bring to the table.
Yeah, a guy that was not used much this season for the Beavers. Runner on second. Here comes the 1-2 pitch. Check swing. Ball was outside. Going back to second base was Triolo. So 2 balls and 2 strikes with 2 outs. Andy Atwood at the plate, walked back in the second. Triolo, the runner, is at second. The 2-2 pitch. Called, strike 3. Going down looking is Andy Atwood. 5th strikeout for Griffin Roberts tonight. That strikeout brought to you by the law offices of Lang, Exafaris, and Bullard. So the Bourne Braves get 1 run on 1 hit, no errors, 1 man left on. They lead it 3-2. Let's send it to our Claudia Chikamian. She's with, now getting word that she's not ready. We'll send it to break here on the Gatemen Baseball Network.
Learning at Curry College extends beyond the classroom and is embedded in all that they do. Curry prepares students to engage in successful careers and active citizenship with a global perspective. Explore undergraduate majors, minors, and concentrations, including new majors in accounting, biochemistry, and software development. Online at www.curry.edu. It's back. The 2017 Friendlies Cape League All-Star Game will be played at Spillane Field, home of the Wareham Gatemen. Mark the date on your calendar, Saturday, July 22nd. Game time is 6 p.m., but the gates open at 2 p.m. One highlight will be the home run hitting contest. There will also be an autograph session and a large merchandise village with items from many of the teams. Be sure to buy your tickets now right here at the merchandise stand. Tickets are just $5, and part of the proceeds will support our Wareham Gatemen.
Andrew Crane's night is done for the Bourne Braves. 4 innings pitched, 5 hits, 3 earned, 1 walk, 3 strikeouts. It's Kyle Marmon's turn here in the top of the 5th. We've got a 3-2 ball game. Gateman leading it over the Bourne Braves.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited to see what Marmon has to do to follow up Andrew Crane. Crane wasn't terrible. He just got into trouble that 1 inning. It was the 3rd inning in which he really faced a lot of issues. And I'm sure Marmon's going to come in here and do a solid job for Bourne's pitching staff.
Marmon's first pitch to Angelini is cut on and missed, 0-1. Marmon out of Florida Atlantic. So far here on the Cape, 4 appearances, 1 game started. He's 0-1 with a 6 flat ERA. 6 innings pitched so far. 7 strikeouts, 2 walks. Pitch is low for a ball to Angelini. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Yeah, Angelini trying to put together a nice at-bat after striking out looking in the second inning.
Angelini takes it up and in. 2-1. Gatemen 3 runs on 5 hits and an error. Braves 2 runs on 5 hits. No errors. Here comes Marmon's 2-1. Fouled off to the right and out of play. Count even, 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Crowded outfield for the Gatemen this year. A lot of guys can go out there. Pompey, we haven't seen him out there yet.
But looking to get reps.
But looking to get reps. That means that some of these guys are going to have to take a seat eventually in the outfield. Angelini's trying to get some more playing time as well.
2-2, sent foul, same spot to the right, out of play. So the count still even, 2 balls and 2 strikes, no outs. Bottom of the order here for the Gatemen. Stephen Kwan on deck, Robbie Metz waiting as well. This one sent to the second baseman, Williams. He throws on the run, and it wasn't in time. He had to kind of fade away from the bag. Going back to first base is Angelini. The throw went off the glove of Shriver's, right off the glove of Shriver's, and now reaching first base is Angelini.
Yeah, that was a crazy play because Angelini eventually turned towards second after the wild throw to try to go in there towards second, but then realized that he was too late, and by that time he was already in fair territory. When that happens, he has to get back to the base in time because he's a live part of the play. Doesn't want to get caught in between first and second there.
So runner on first base, no outs. They check over at Angelini. He's diving back safely. Stephen Kwan is up. Sac fly back in the third, part of a 1-for-2 day. He singled in the first. So he has had a nice 4th of July outing so far. First pitch at the at-bat. Little dribbler in the air. And caught by the first baseman, Schreiber.
Yeah, Kwan bunted that and unfortunately just got under it. And seen that a few times from Gatemen hitters. They really have not bunted the ball well at all this season. And that's something for the Gatemen staff to work on with these players, is to work on their bunting. It's just an important part of the game. Because in situations like this, with a speedy runner on first and a speedy runner at the plate, you want to get that bunt down to try to get on base. And Kwan just mis-executed it.
Going to bring up Robbie Metz. 0-for-1 on the day. Was hit by a pitch and came around to score. Jacks this one out to right field into the gap. Falls for a base hit. Stopping at second is Angelini. And now runners at first and second with 1 out. Gatemen up by 1.
Another good piece of hitting by Robbie Metz. It's his first hit of the game. And he's now reached. He has now a hit in in 6 of his last 7 games with Robbie Metz. So he continues his streak. He's been really good recently after a slow start. He was hitting .444 in the last 7 games coming into today, and that should improve that.
Kyle Kasser batting from the left side. He's 1-for-2. Good opportunity here. Runners at first and second with 1 out. Pitch in the dirt, low, 1-0. Angelini at second, Kasser at first. Here comes the 1-0, sent to the shortstop. Free J takes it himself for 1, guns it to first for 2. Double play, Kyle Kasser grounds into it. And that will end the inning. So the Gatemen, no runs on 2 hits, no errors, no men left on. And we're headed to the bottom of the 5th. Wareham still leads it 3-2. You're listening to Wareham Gatemen Baseball on the Gatemen Baseball Network. Let's send it to our Claudia. And now we're going to take another break.
Next radio, Yellow Book, TSA, Rawlings, Cape Cod Chamber of Commerce, Highline Cruises, Sports Page, On Deck Sports.
Welcome back to the Gatemen Baseball Network. Claudia Gatemen with head coach Don Snedden. Coach, when I talked to you earlier before the game, you said you wanted to see that consistency in scoring throughout the entire game. Just had the opportunity just now and you couldn't get through. So what do they need to do to try and get those runs throughout the game?
Well, we got to be more aggressive on the base pads right there. It was not real great base running. We could have gone first to third on that, it looked like on that, but he's got to make up his own mind, and that might have changed the complexity of that inning. But that's the way baseball's played. You just don't know.
So now I see Tanner Dotson is on the mound now. So what are you hoping to see from him today?
Well, I haven't seen him. So I mean, he's coming in, and this is just, again, a new adventure. Being in the Cape, you don't know. You get a lot of these pitchers are coming in still. We don't know much what's going to happen. So hopefully he throws strikes and keeps us in the ballgame.
It's just a one-run lead. So what do you want to see happen the rest of the game? What's your main concern going forward?
Well, again, we got to manufacture. We got to get a run here, run there. We had a couple opportunities to get a couple runs. We could be up by 2. If we just would have put some balls in play. But, again, I keep hammering on that. It's just something you have to do, and we'll keep probably having the same conversation all summer long.
Great. Thanks, Coach. Back to you, Jacob.
Thank you, Claudia. Nice stuff there from head coach Don Snedden. So Griffin Roberts' night is done. He goes 5 strong innings. Welcome to the Gateman, Jordan Britton.
Yes, Jordan Britton. He didn't get that much playing time at Oregon State this year, but that's because that Oregon State pitching staff was absolutely loaded, and he's still a young player. So moving forward, Jordan Britton's going to be one of the biggest bullpen guys for a top program in Oregon State. And here he is with the Gatemen looking to get some big reps in. And I'm looking forward to seeing what he has to offer.
He's going to face the top of the lineup here in the bottom of the 5th. Jamison Hanna. The pitch is outside, dribbles to the backstop off the glove of Anchia. 1 ball and no strikes.
But Britton was pretty good for Oregon State this year. In the few appearances that he did have, he was solid.
Pitch low, 2-0. Here comes Britton's 2-0, sent on a line. Nice snag from McIver, the first baseman, 1 out. So 1 gone here in the bottom of the 5th. Jordan Britton on the hill, 6'3", 204. Right-hander. Just spectacular talent, potential in the lefty. He's going to face Grant Williams here, the second baseman, with 1 out in the bottom of the 5th. In a 3-2 ball game, his Gateman on top of the Braves. First pitch in the dirt, 1-0. Pitch number 2 at the at-bat, also missing for a ball, 2-0. Britton just making 9 appearances for the Beavers this season. 3 straight balls here to Grant Williams.
Yeah, Britton settling into this Cape League. He hasn't pitched in a while, and that can be an issue because he didn't pitch much in the World Series nor in the regionals.
3-0, taken for a strike smartly by the hitter Grant Williams. 3 balls and 1 strike.
Yeah, his ERA was above 4 in 30 innings, but
pitch is high for a ball, and a 1-out walk drawn by Grant Williams.
Now batting the catcher, number 28, from Arizona State University, Lyle Wynn.
So 1 out and a runner on first base. Lyle Lynn has had a tough night. 0 for 2. Struck out swinging in the first, struck out looking in the third. Sends this one on a line off the glove of Metz into left field, and now it's first and second.
Yeah, a lot of hard contact on Britton since this inning started. The first out was a line out to the first baseman, McIver, and if it wasn't right to McIver, it would have been a base hit, likely. And now 2 consecutive hits on good contact from this Bourne Braves middle of the lineup. Grant Williams with that first hit. He's probably the most dangerous hitter in this lineup. And he's been solid all season out of Kennesaw State. A pretty nice surprise from a guy in a pretty little conference in Williams. So he's now in the scoring position, has a lot of speed as well. He's usually their leadoff guy, but today hitting in the 2-hole.
Scott Schreiber, RBI single back in the first, grounded out to end the third. First pitch swinging, was fooled on the breaking ball, 0-1.
Yeah, that slider of Britton's is supposedly pretty dominant and goes along with this fastball that can reach 91 miles per hour, but not much higher than that. So he does rely on that slider a little bit because he can't blow by guys with the fastball.
Grant Williams, the runner at second. Lyle Lynn, the runner at first. Schreiber at the plate with 1 out in a 3-2 ball game. Bourne trails by 1. This one up in the infield. Duran coming in, battling the sun, makes the catch for out number 2. Tough play for Duran. Ball was hit up in the air for about 3-4 seconds.
Yeah, tough play for Duran in the sun there, and he does a nice job tracking it down kind of in Kasser's territory at that point, but a nice job by Kasser to not have the miscommunication.
2 outs. Grant Witherspoon singled and scored in the 4th. Still has 2 runners on here with 2 outs in the bottom of the 5th. Ball bounces and off Chia's padding to the right of home plate. Runners advance up a base. Grant Williams to third, Lyle Lynn to second.
Now a real jam for Jordan Britton. Even though there's 2 outs, you have 2 runners in scoring position. And in a 1-run game, and 1 hit here could jump Bourne into the lead by a run. With some speed on the bases, Lyle Lynn certainly some speed, and Grant Williams is already on third base. He'll score on anything.
Swing and a miss from Witherspoon, 1-1.
Good slider there from Jordan Britton. And it's tough, you face the lefty or the righty in Griffin Roberts with that slider, and now you have a slider from an opposite-handed pitcher. It can be tough to read now. Already adjusted to that different slider.
As the fastball cut on and missed. Witherspoon now down in the count. 1 ball and 2 strikes. So now Williams at third, Lyle Lynn at second, 2 outs in the inning. Grant Witherspoon trying to tie this game up. Could take the lead as well. Here comes the 1-2 pitch. On the ground to McIver. Handles it at first, flips on to Britton. And the Gatemen get out of the inning without letting up a run.
Don't forget to make sure
so no runs on 1 hit, no errors, 2 men left on for the Bourne Braves. We head to the 6th on this July 4th ball game at Dorn Park. You're listening to Wareham Gatemen Baseball on the Gatemen Baseball Network.
All-Star Game Weekend starts with a celebrity softball game on July 21st at McKeon Park in Hyannis. Come watch Jason Veritek, Bill Lee, Nancy Kerrigan, Scott Zolak, and other in support of the Cape Cod Baseball League and Spalding Rehabilitation Hospital of Cape Cod. Gates open at 4 p.m. For more information and to buy tickets, go to allstarcapecod.org. That's allstarcapecod.org.
Coca-Cola Bottling of Cape Cod thanks you for supporting the Cape Cod Baseball League and for refreshing yourself with ice-cold Coca-Cola products. Coca-Cola Bottling Company of Cape Cod employs more than 50 full-time employees and more than 25 seasonal. Every year, more than 15 college students get great experience and support their education by working at Coca-Cola Bottling of Cape Cod. Reward yourself. Have a Coke.
Gatemen Baseball Network would like to remind you that you can contact us anytime by emailing pressbox@gateman.org. Please feel free to send us your questions or comments. We'll make sure to address them as soon as possible. Make sure you're keeping up with all the Gatemen action 24/7 by following Wareham Gatemen on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and SoundCloud. Top of the 6th here at Bourne Park. Nicking this one foul straight to the backstop is William McIver facing Kyle Marmon, who's in for his second inning of work. The count is 0-1.
It was an impressive inning from Marmon back in the 5th inning. Gave up a hit, but he got some help from his defense, kept the ball on the ground.
McIver sends this one out to center field. Atwood ranging to his left. Quick out here for the Wareham Gatemen, one gone.
And that's what McIver wanted to do, was just drive that ball out. Just not quite enough for a home run off of Marmon, and into center field. Routine play for Atwood out there in center. One of 2 Oregon State Beavers out in the outfield today.
Of course, Jordan Britton, the other Oregon State Beaver, with Stephen Kwan on the Gatemen. Jake Anchia takes a first pitch strike, 0-1.
And that breaking ball from Marmon, I haven't really been able to find much on what his breaking ball is supposed to be, but it looks like a slurve ball from here. It has a lot of break downward, but also has a lot of sliding movement.
Marmon's 0-1, fools Anchia, spins around and swings. Can't connect, 0-2.
Yeah, I don't know what he was swinging at there. That was a fastball just slowing away, and Anchia was hacking away. No matter what he saw, it looked like in that pitch.
No balls and 2 strikes. Marmon winds, kicks, and deals. Missing, 1-2. Marmon's 1-2. Is that breaking ball just in the dirt? 2-2.
We'll just call it a breaking ball because we don't really know. It looks like a curveball and a slider. So
slurve.
It is a slurve, I guess. I guess we'll go with that.
Marmon's 2-2 pitch runs inside and up. 3 balls and 2 strikes with 1 out here in the 6th. Marmon waiting for the signs from his catcher, Lynn. 3-2 pitch is sent on a rocket into left field quickly for a base hit. 1 out single for Jake Anchia.
Good piece of hitting by Anchia. It's the first time we've seen a Gateman hitter pull the ball for a base hit today. Usually they've been going opposite field. There it was, just turned on it in a sharp ground ball between the third baseman and the shortstop for Anchia. His hitting slowly gotten better this season. I'm sure that's what he mainly wanted to work on out here in the Cape, was that hitting ability. He has power.
Pompey takes a pitch for a strike, 0-1. So runner at first base is Jake Anchia. 0-1 to Pompey. Slides in,
yes,
slurves in.
Slurves in. That was a beautiful pitch, and Pompey just looked at it because not only did it come in way off the plate, but it was slow. It fooled Pompey after going fastball on the first pitch.
No balls and 2 strikes with a runner on first. No out. Here comes Marmon's pitch, and Pompey went around. The pitch was up and in on a fastball. Pompey was too late, and he gets caught swinging, 2 outs.
That's what we're talking about, is pitch selection. That slurve ball before that might have been a good pitch to hit for Pompey. Took it instead because it was just, he probably was fooled by it. But that next pitch, a fastball way up and in, decides to swing at it. And you know the coaching staff is going to be working on that with Pompey all season.
John Topa is the batter with a runner on first. Checks his swing. That breaking ball just popping in for a strike.
Yeah, he's really controlling it well, is Marmon, and if he can continue to plant that thing on the corner, he shouldn't have any issues today facing this Gateman lineup.
0-1 becomes 0-2 quickly on a swing and miss by Topa.
Because when you're able to plant that breaking ball around where you want to, you're able to use that fastball like he just did. He blew it right by John Topa.
3-2 in favor of Wareham here in the 6th. 2 outs, runner on first. Here comes the 0-2 to Topa. Pitch outside. We'll be checking in with our Connor Federico after this inning. Checking about the Cape League scores.
Some great games going on around the league and some big Eastern Division matchups, including this one.
1-2, runner goes. Topa swings and misses. Throw down a second, doesn't even matter. So back-to-back strikeouts for Kyle Marmon. Ends the inning, no runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 man left on for the Gatemen. They still lead it 3-2. And Connor Federico, tell me, sir, what is happening around the Cape League? Take it away, my friend.
Well, the last time we talked, guys, the Falmouth Commodores and the Cotuit Kettleers, they were locked in a 1-1 tie in the 5th. Now fast forward to the bottom of the 8th. The Cotuit Kettleers have taken a 4-1 lead. We have our first final of the night. That will be over in Yarmouth. Dennis, the Hyannis Harbor Hawks beat the YD Red Sox by a score of 4-0. And we have a tie ball game over in Harwich. It's 4-4 between the Brewster Whitecaps and the Harwich Mariners. Right here, it's 3-2 Gatemen, and we finally have a start time between the Chatham Anglers and the Orleans Firebirds. It's in the bottom of the 2nd. Orleans has a 1-0. Guys, thanks for surprising me on camera here, Sam. It's back to you guys, and a great game here at Doran Park.
Thank you, Connor Federico. Jacob Toby alongside my man, Sam Corman. And as I'm talking, I smell the food from afar. It's French fries. It's my favorite food. That would be my choice if I had to pick any food here on this July 4th night. Just French fries with ketchup. Yeah, hamburgers are well.
Yeah, of course. And there's also a beautiful sunset going on behind you, Jacob, the clouds. And that's really what I want to get a shot of is that right there. A gorgeous night here in Bourne. And, of course, I'll get a shot of you as well, but we'll get back to the game action. They don't want to see us.
So Jordan Britton on for his 2nd inning of work. Ran into a little bit of a jam, had 2 runners on last half inning, but did well, got out of it. And now Andrew Freejay is the shortstop. He's going to start it off here against Britton. It's Freejay Palacios Triolo here for the Bourne Braves in the bottom of the 6th. Showing bunt, popping it up foul. No one's going to get it. So Freejay down in the count, 0-1. No score, rather, there is a score. I don't know. You know what? No score? Come on, Jacob. What am I doing over here? 3-2 Wareham.
I was just going to let it ride off. I was pretty confused as what you were saying. No score in the last inning and a half. How about that?
You know what? That's a good tool. To learn that from you, my friend. Pitch up and away, 1-1. Hey, that's the beauty of the Cape League.
It's for learning.
Players are working and learning. We're working and learning.
Absolutely, and especially Jordan Britton, a pretty big spot to be put in his first outing.
1-1, hopped and chopped to Metz. And he fires over to first to retire Freejay.
I'm learning very slowly my camera operating skills as are getting better by the second.
Again, telling the people that you're the camera guy.
I mean, I've already given it away earlier in this game. I might as well now. As you get a look at Richie Palacios now in the box.
Palacios 0 for 2 on the day. Flew out to left field in the 2nd. And grounded out to second base in the 4th. Takes a first pitch strike. Palacios awaits the 0-1. Check swing. And he knew it right away. He goes around quickly 0-2.
And that was a dangerous pitch from Jordan Britton. Probably one of the best out of the zone pitches we've seen today. And he got fooled Palacios utterly on that slider.
0-2 pitch. Broken bat. Grounder right to the mound. And Britton handles it over to McIver. 2 gone.
And a tough break for Palacios. Not only did he get retired there by Britton, but he loses his wood. Splits right down the middle.
2 quick outs. Jared Triolo, the third baseman, is 1 for 2. Lined out to right field. Angelini made a nice sliding catch back in the 2nd. Then in the 4th had an RBI double. Britton's first pitch bouncing to the plate. Of course, Wareham coming off that 2-0 loss to Cotuit. Wondering how Justin Glover's recovering after that knee injury. Only went 3 innings.
Yeah, it was a day where the pitchers were really impressive.
1-0 swung on and missed, 1-1.
And you hope Glover is okay, but he was pretty good in those first 3 innings he went, and then a great job coming in relief for his bullpen. It was Zavalis and then German, and you know, if it weren't for bad defense, I think the Gatemen and Kettleers would be heading to extra innings yesterday in a 0-0 game.
1-1 swung on and missed by Triolo. Now he's down in the count. 1 ball and 2 strikes with 2 outs in the bottom half of the 6th inning with the Gatemen up 3-2.
And speaking of defense, you'd still like to see some better today. Some interesting decision-making going on.
1-2, cut on and missed. Triolo goes down swinging, and that will end the inning. That strikeout brought to you by the law offices of Lang, Exafaris, and Bullard. So the Bravos go 1, 2, 3. We go to the 7th inning. Gatemen up 3-2. You're listening to Wareham Gatemen Baseball on the Gatemen Baseball Network.
The Cape Cod Baseball League is all about family, and it's all about fun. Friendly's is all about family and fun and is proud to sponsor the 2017 baseball season. Friendly's, life with extra sprinkles.
Baseball Factory, a proud partner of the Cape League since 1991, holds over 600 events nationwide for players ages 8 through 18, including 3 training weeks here in the Cape. Baseball Factory alumni have played on every Division I college program across the nation, plus 400 have made it to the majors. Visit baseballfactory.com to learn how you can build your way to greatness.
Curry College offers 14 NCAA Division III athletic teams in sports such as football, baseball, softball, basketball, hockey, soccer, lacrosse, tennis, cross country, and volleyball. Read about the success of the Curry Colonels and their championship teams. It's all online at www.curry.edu.
We are in the 7th inning at Dorn Park. Jacob Toby alongside Sam Corman. Claudia Chikamian on hand, our sideline reporter. Connor Federico, our pregame host. Matty Feld, we haven't heard from him tonight, but he's here as well in his seersucker suit.
He's always here, and he's always journalisming it up everywhere on this field.
Jaron Duran is the leadoff hitter. Takes a pitch outside for ball 1 from Kyle Marmon, who's on for his 3rd inning of work tonight for the Bravos.
Yeah, and last time Matt Fell wore that seersucker suit, he was wearing a shirt with the exact same color blue, and it was just disgusting.
1-0 becomes 2-0. That is the 2nd time you've called him disgusting.
But it was the same outfit both times. And he doesn't look disgusting today because the shirt actually matches, and it matched a little bit too much that last time.
Love to get his thoughts on what you're saying right now.
Of course, we all love Matt Feld, of course. There's no question.
2-0, sent straight back to the screen. 2 balls and 1 strike.
And this is a guy who had a opposite field triple earlier in this game, and you'd like to see that again from Duran. Anytime he can hit the gaps or down the line, you know he's flying down looking for more than 2 bases because, you know, I wouldn't be surprised to see Duran, you know, leg out an inside the park home run attempt at some point this year if he can find the right spot.
2-1. Becomes 2-2, taken for a strike. Speaking of inside the park home runs, Robbie Metz at George Washington this past season had 1 home run. It was an inside the park home run.
Awesome. That's rare, especially in colleges. You see it in the MLB a little bit more often because the stadiums can be kind of weird depending on what you're playing in. Fenway Park with the triangle in center field can sometimes provide an inside the parker, but not as much in college stadiums where it's less quirky.
And Duran chases fastball up and away for out number 1 here in the 7th.
And that slurve from Marmon has really been working him to his advantage because he's been able to go to that fastball on multiple occasions and get hitters to chase out of the zone, trying to protect as much as they can behind in the count. And that's exactly what happened to Duran there. Chased the fastball way out of the zone, up and away. And Marmon looks good right now.
Nick Angelini, first pitch swinging, hits it high in the sky. Coming into center fielder Atwood. Taking over is the 2nd baseman Grant Williams. So 1 pitch and 1 out. That is out number 2. And before that out, Marmon had struck out the last 3 batters he faced.
Yeah, and you mentioned it's that slurve ball. It's really fooling the Gateman hitters. It's a slider for the Gateman pitchers right now that's working in Jordan Britton. And it's that slider curveball combination for Marmon that's getting these hitters confused. And then that fastball looks really good as well from the pitcher.
Marmon fires 1 in for a strike to Stephen Kwan, 0-1.
Yeah, Stephen Kwan, I think it's safe to say that he's just has some of the most sheer talent on this team.
0-1 outside, 1 ball and 1 strike with 2 outs and a 3-2 lead for the Gatemen over the Bourne Braves.
This is a guy that declined a lot of, hometown offers in Northern California to go up to play for Oregon State and the Beavers and one of the best programs in the country.
Marmon's 1-1, taken for a strike, 1-2.
It's got to be tough to lose in the way that Oregon State lost this year in the College World Series and then just immediately start playing baseball again. But I'm sure the new coaches, the new faces around him will help him continue his phenomenal baseball career thus far.
Marmon steps off the hill for a moment. He's going to regroup here against the hitter Stephen Kwan, who is 1 for 3 on the day with a single. He's got an RBI, a sac fly in the 3rd. This one sent foul over our heads. And there go the kids once more to chase that one as it bounces onto the pavement.
Yeah, the herd of children went to chase that one down. About 6 or 7 of them. It looks like there might be an injury back there. One of the kids.
Oh.
Kind of hopping around. Oh, it's his shoe. His shoe fell off.
1 ball and 2 strikes to Kwan. This one jacked foul as well. It's going to hit the school. Watch out. The school's pretty close. I'd say it's about 75, 100 yards to the left of
we know what's closer?
the field. What's closer?
Wareham Middle School to Spillane Field.
That's true.
But the protective material on the glass prevents any breakage from happening.
1-2, sent foul again. This one doesn't get out of the park. It hits the screen, which is pretty tall. How tall do you think that is?
I'm not good with heights.
50 feet?
Safe to say, maybe 50 feet.
Lights are on here at Dorn Park. We are in the top of the 7th with 2 outs. The Gatemen lead it 3-2, 1-2 to Stephen Kwan. Here comes Marmon's pitch. And taken closely for ball 2.
But that's a great pitch by Marmon coming inside on a 1-2 count. And he had a pitch to work with. Now he's even in the count. So very disciplined at bat for Stephen Kwan. Once again trying to get the pitcher, Marmon, to fall behind on him. He's not going down with ease.
Marmon's 2-2. Roped into right field. Past the second baseman, Williams. And a 2-out single for Stephen Kwan, his 2nd single of the day.
Just a phenomenal swing and a phenomenal at-bat from Stephen Kwan. Notice how he was able to wait very hard on that slur ball and just slap it into right field, recognize the off-speed pitch immediately. And once again, finding the holes in the infield. He's so good at that. Most of his hits thus far as a Gateman have been little grounders through the infield that have found holes between the shortstop and third baseman or between the second baseman and the first baseman. And he just gets on base no matter how it's done. He can do it.
Kwan at first. Robbie Metz, first pitch swinging and missing. 0-1. Metz today is 1 for 2. Grounded into a double play in the first, was hit by a pitch, came around to score in the 3rd, then singled in the 5th.
I'd like to see Stephen Kwan flex his base stealing ability. We know he can. He hasn't really done so yet.
He's at first base. There he goes. Swing and a miss by Metz, and dropping the ball was Lyle Lynn, the catcher. So going down to second base, Stephen Kwan.
I guess he heard me. His first attempt of the year, and I'd like to have seen maybe Lyle Lynn get a throw off there, but tough transfer. Those transfers when you're rushing can be pretty hard and difficult.
So now Kwan finds himself on second. No balls and 2 strikes with 2 outs for Robbie Metz. They will count that as a stolen base for Kwan. 0-2. Framed by the catcher Lynn just outside. 1-2.
I haven't really seen Marmon from the stretch that much, although he did get 2 strikeouts back in the 6th while working from that stretch. You know, that was on Pompey and Topa, and both of them fooling them with that slurve ball. So it's not going to get any worse from this different windup per se.
Mets at the plate, batting from the right side. The 1-2 pitch sent on the ground to the third baseman Triolo. Across the diamond. Retires Mets in time to end the inning. So the Gatemen get 1 hit. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 man left on. As we're going to head to the 7th inning. 7th inning stretch presented by Eastern Propane and Oil, proud sponsor of the Gatemen with locations on and off the Cape. Wareham leads it 3-2. And we'll be back here on the Gatemen Baseball Network right after this.
The Wareham Gatemen and the visiting team, the Cape Cod Baseball League, and the NCAA promote good sportsmanship by student athletes, coaches, and spectators. We request your cooperation and positive support of the participants and officials. Profanity, racial or sexist comments, or other intimidating actions directed at officials, student athletes, coaches, or team representatives will not be tolerated and are grounds for removal from this ballpark.
Want to hear more about today's game, players, and breaking sports updates? Then download the free Next Radio app from the Google Play Store and tune to this station. It's live. It's local FM radio wherever you go. The Next Radio app. Get it today. Visit Stars Restaurant at Chatham Bars Inn Resort and Spa for a world-class dining experience. A proud member of leading hotels of the world.
Are you stretched out, Sam Corman?
I've been stretched this whole game. We're standing here in the Bourne broadcast booth up here in the press box at Doran Park, and I like to stand personally when I broadcast, but not always.
So ball 1 thrown to Kyle, or rather, Andy Atwood. So Jordan Britton on for his 3rd inning of work tonight. He's only let up 1 hit. Ball 2 to Atwood, who's 0 for 1 on the day, walked in the 2nd, struck out looking in the 4th.
Well, for Jordan Britton, who's in his 1st appearance, it's not about how you start, but it's about how you finish.
It's 1 hit, foul past Mets at 3rd. 2-1.
You know, he doesn't care that he went 2 scoreless innings previously. He knows that this maybe being his last inning. Who knows, though, with the way that this Gateman pitching staff is headed by Jim Lawler. He's been keeping the innings pretty limited.
Pitch taken for a strike. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Atwood, the leadoff hitter, followed by Jamison Hanna and Grant Williams. 2-2 pitch. Breaking ball missing outside, 3-2.
A big pitch coming up for Jordan Britton. Does not want to lead off this inning with a walk, especially because it's a 1-run game right now in favor of the Gatemen.
Swung on and missed. Atwood down swinging for out number 1 here in the 8th. That strikeout brought to you by the law offices of Lang, Exafaris, and Bullard. For the first out, Andy Atwood sits down.
Yeah, and after 2 early hits off of Jordan Britton earlier in this game, he's now retired the last 6 batters for Bourne, and you like to see that from a new guy out of Oregon State.
Britton's 2nd strikeout.
Excuse me, it was 1 early hit, not 2. It was a walk and a hit, which basically serves as the same thing for a pitcher.
Jamison Hanna is the batter. Takes a pitch low, bouncing to the plate, 1-0. All right, so NBA draft was a couple weeks ago. I was on the call for the Brewster game. I was a little nervous because I didn't know what the Celtics were going to do. Same thing happens tonight. I'm a little bit nervous as now the Celtics, they've signed Gordon Hayward, swing and a miss here from Jamison Hanna. All right, that's it. NBA talk done.
Hey, what's the NBA? Is that the National Baseball Association of something?
All right. Here comes the 1-1. Up and in for a ball, 2-1.
Poll on the Bourne Braves Twitter account. Everyone should go answer that. What's your favorite 4th of July pastime, says the Bourne Braves Twitter. 7th inning stretch poll for them. They have 11 votes. Oh, my God.
2-1 coming right up to the booth.
That was a complete reaction by both of us because the net is right there, but that was going to nail me right in the head and had that net not been there. So thank you to this net at Doran Park. But 7th inning stretch, favorite 4th of July pastime on the Bourne Braves Twitter. Baseball, day off, fireworks, or the hot dog eating contest?
2-2 in the dirt. 3 balls and 2 strikes.
And it's an obvious answer for me. It's baseball, of course. But those are some good contenders. Hot dog eating contest still needs some votes. Has 0 votes.
I love the hot dog eating contest.
Yes, it is awesome. Although it is disgusting what they do.
3-2, roped foul down the first base line. Yeah, it's disgusting, but I'm not doing it, so it's fun to watch.
It is fun to watch, but you know when you're watching it, they're dipping the buns in water and whatnot. It's pretty crazy what's going on.
There's an issue with the ball that went foul. Now they get it out of the way. Angelini had to go into the corner down that right field pole and throw it into the Wareham bullpen, which there is a arm warming up. It's a left-hander. We'll get the name in a moment.
And a reminder, of course, to vote on our poll.
3-2. Outside, Hannah's going to go down to first base with a 1-out walk. It's Grant Wolfram warming in the bullpen for the Gatemen.
And Wolfram's been a guy that's been pretty consistent since he got to a rough start here in the Cape League, but the pitching coaching of Jim Lawler really coming into play with Grant Wolfram, a D2 guy at Davenport College, and he's just gotten better and better since this season started. Only in about 20 games or so. Just shows what the coaching here on the Cape League can do for these players. And right now, the poll has ended. Would you like to hear the results after this pitch, Jacob?
Yes, I will. Grant Williams is the batter. He takes strike 1 with a runner on first base and 1 out in the inning, 0-1.
Not quite as good of a showing on this poll as we had on the last one, but 31 votes were in. Batting gloves of Jaron Duran were said to be superior to the Sox, so upset there, honestly, I think.
0-1, up and away, 1 ball, 1 strike.
But the batting gloves are sharp. The white batting gloves with the stars and stripes on them. Good stuff for Duran. Now a big spot for Britton. That tying run's on first base. Hoping to get this guy out.
1-1, up and in. Snap throw down to first base. The tag from McIver. Not in time, and getting back safely is Hannah.
Yeah, Willie McIver's usually the one throwing that ball down to first base, but now he's the one trying to make the tag at first base. Of course, he's been playing catcher most of this season, also over there at first. And a good job by Anchia. But Hannah's fast, and he showed it there with that slide back to first.
And now they're trying to check him again. This time the ball gets away from McIver. Going down to second is Hannah.
And that's tough for Jordan Britton, because that's a mistake that he doesn't need to make. And it'll probably be a scored an error on him, as that was kind of a wild throw. We'll get the official scoring on that. But now a runner in scoring position, and that's a tying run in scoring position for the Bourne Braves. And a good hitter at the plate in Grant Williams, one of their best hitters in a big spot.
Britton's 2-1. Sent back to the screen, just a bit lower than the last one we got scared from. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Williams was 0 for 5 in that previous game for the Bourne Braves against Wareham, but his average is well above 300 this year. And he's probably been the most consistent hitter in this Bourne lineup throughout the season. He's been playing every day out of Kennesaw State.
2-2 pitch. Swung on and missed. Dropped by Anchia, the catcher. He'll throw down to first. McIver catches it, and Williams is retired for the second out of the inning. That strikeout brought to you by the law offices of Lang, Exafaris, and Bullard. The third for Jordan Britton tonight. There are 2 outs, and Lyle Lynn is the batter with a runner in scoring position. 3-2 in favor of the G-Men.
Yeah, the third strikeout for Jordan Britton, and the third, his last 3 putouts have all been via the strikeout, so he's really settling in to this game right now. after that walk. Good to see the big recovery with that breaking ball, getting the strikeout.
Fouled off by Lyle Lynn on the first pitch. 0-1. Hannah, who is the runner at second, was already off to third. Chopped high right past Harvey Shapiro, the third base coach for Bourne.
Yeah, I was throwing you too many coach names earlier in the broadcast.
Whoa.
Yeah, notable Bourne Braves alumni that have played under Harvey Shapiro. The most impressive one that I could find was Mitch Moreland. Of course, has had a pretty successful MLB career to this point.
This one skips past Anchia through his legs. It was in the dirt. Advancing to third is Jamison Hannah.
Tough play for Anchia there because he almost stopped it, and it just slipped past him. And sometimes those are the toughest ones for a catcher because you don't really know where it is if it doesn't cleanly get by you. And on that one, Anchia had no idea. He was looking in 360 degrees and eventually found it. But by that time, Jamison Hannah was on third base with that blazing speed of his. Now he's only 90 feet away from tying this game.
1-2 pitch from Britton, sent to the shortstop Kasser. Runner coming home. The throw to first is in time. Kasser retires Lynn, and that will end the inning. So the Bravos, they can't score. No runs, no hits. One error and one man left on. They still trail it 3-2. We are headed to the 8th. You're listening to Wareham Gatemen Baseball on the Gatemen Baseball Network.
Earn a bachelor's or master's degree, complete a certificate, or take a single course through the Division of Continuing Education and Graduate Studies at Curry College. Classes run days, evenings, and weekends in Milton and Plymouth. To learn more about programs in business, criminal justice, education, nursing, and more, visit curry.edu.
The Wareham Gatemen would like to thank Franklin Sports for their sponsorship of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Franklin is yet again proud to be the official batting glove of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Throughout the summer, all 10 Cape League teams are wearing their own custom team batting gloves, courtesy of Franklin Sports. To order your favorite team's design or to create your own, visit franklinsports.com/custom. Enter code CCBL20 for 20% off your purchase. From Cape Cod to the major leagues, only the best hitters in baseball wear Franklin gloves.
Gatemen up 3-2 over the Bourne Braves here at Doran Park on this nice July 4th evening here in Bourne, Massachusetts. Jacob Toby alongside Sam Corman. We are in the 8th inning, and the Gatemen coming to the plate. It's going to be Kyle Kasser, Willie McIver, and Jake Anchia.
Yeah, a chance for the Gatemen to add to this one-run lead. They've failed to do so in past innings.
First pitch taken for a strike from Kyle Kasser, who is 1 for 3 on the day. Grounded out in the first, singled in the third, and grounded into a 4-6-3 double play to end the 5th. 0-1, drops in for a strike.
I hate to steal some of the thunder from our host Connor Federico, but Falmouth, a rare home loss for the Commodores against, that was a road loss against Katuitt, 5-3. So the Kettleers on fire now.
0-2, right back to the pitcher Marmon. Lost it for a moment as he fiddled with it in his hands, but makes the play to retire Kasser, one gone.
Yeah, he just kind of found that one and was able to make the play. I'd like to mention that this is my first season here at the Cape Cod League, and this is the second to last ballpark I've had the opportunity to see here in Cape Cod, and the final one being YD later in the season.
You're right.
But all the ballparks here are just beautiful here on the Cape Cod League.
Willie McIver takes a pitch inside, 1-0.
They might only be high school ballparks, but they're so nice. The lights, the facilities, they're just all great, especially here in Bourne. You get a great background.
1-0 becomes 2-0. Yep, this is a very nice venue here at Upper Cape Tech.
Home of the Rams.
I was just going to say that.
Stealing your thunder.
You're looking at the sign, correct?
Yes.
Same time I was. Here comes the 2-0 pitch. Oh, McIver sends this one out to center field. Not enough, though. Atwood under it. Makes the catch, 2 outs. That one maybe sounded like it was going for a ride.
Yeah, you know, your reaction was probably the same as mine would have been, because I thought he smoked that one just based on the sound of the bat. But it is 395 out here in center. Maybe if he got that one around the pesky pole, it would have been gone. But McIver's been having a lot of power just to the wrong part of the ballpark this season. He's been hitting a lot of balls to straightaway center field. He's got to work on maybe. He's a great opposite field hitter. He should be aiming that direction.
This one sent out to right field, and Chia, with Witherspoon under it, makes the catch to retire the side. 3 up, 3 down here in the 8th. We head to the bottom of the 8th. No runs, no hits, no errors, no men left on. Wareham still fighting with that 1-run lead, 3-2. You're listening to Wareham Gatemen Baseball on the Gatemen Baseball Network.
Did you know that Baseball Factory has partnered with the Cape League for the past 17 seasons? Baseball Factory is your resource for top-notch baseball training. With over 600 events nationwide for players age 8 to 18 and over 100,000 college success stories, you too can build your way to greatness with Baseball Factory. Visit baseballfactory.com to learn more.
It's back. The 2017 Friendlies Cape League All-Star Game will be played at Spillane Field, home of the Wareham Gatemen. Mark the date on your calendar, Saturday, July 22nd. Game time is 6 p.m., but the gates open at 2 p.m. One highlight will be the home run hitting contest. There will also be an autograph session and a large merchandise village with items from many of the teams. Be sure to buy your tickets now right here at the merchandise stand. Tickets are just $5, and part of the proceeds will support our Wareham Gatemen.
Jordan Britton comes in, does a nice job, only lets up 1 hit through 3 innings, and now it's Grant Wolfram's turn.
Grant Wolfram has been a pretty solid pitcher all season for the Gatemen, including that last outing was against the Bourne Braves back at Spillane Field. That was on July 1st, just a few days ago. 2 2/3 inning pitched for Grant Wolfram out of Davenport University in Michigan. That's in Grand Rapids, Michigan. He threw 2 2/3. No earned runs, no runs at all. 1 hit, just 1 strikeout. Only a walk and a hit by a pitch for Wolfram. So one thing he'd like to add to his stat sheet is a lot more strikeouts, and I think he's well on his way to doing that under the great watchful eye of pitching coach Jim Lawler.
Scott Schreiber, Grant Witherspoon, Andrew Freejay to face Grant Wolfram here in the bottom of the 8th. Gateman up 3-2. First pitch taken for a ball, 1-0.
And the video feed doesn't do Grant Wolfram justice because he is a tall guy out there on the mound, a tall lefty.
6'7", and he's all of it. Swing and a miss there from the hitter Schreiber. 1-1, 6'7", 224 from Hamilton, Michigan.
He's a big dude. Hamilton, Michigan, a very, very small town where he's from.
How small?
Probably less than 200 people at that, I would say.
1-1, sent foul down the right field line and out of play. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
I'll find out for sure for you.
It is a history lesson every time we are on the broadcast together. My geography guy over here, Sam Corman.
I was wrong.
Oh, well.
3,000.
Wolfram's 1-2, turned on but sent foul out of play over the snack shack. Where are my French fries?
Get them after the game. Run over there before we film the Gatemen Postgame Show. A reminder to tune into YouTube a few hours after the game for the postgame show that will be up there. It includes interviews with our coach and the player of the game, which is yet to be named.
Yeah, got to figure that out. 1-2, Schreiber. Swings and misses. Thought it was a dropped third strike. Nevertheless, Schreiber down swinging for the first out. That strikeout brought to you by the law offices of Lang, Exafaris, and Bullard.
What a start for Grant Wolfram coming in here, getting a big strikeout, gets the hitter Schreiber to swing at a pitch in the dirt. That's exactly what he needed to get this outing going for him.
Lefty will throw to another lefty, Grant Witherspoon. Ball bounces to the netting for a ball, 1-0. Want to shout out some people on Twitter right now who are watching the game. Brian Burlingham, who's watching from Westchester, Pennsylvania.
Absolutely. A big shout out to Brian.
1-0, taken for a strike. 1 ball and 1 strike. Diane Radford, watching from Corodaman River, Weems, Virginia.
Wow. That's a lot of names for a town.
Yeah.
Oh, it's Griffin Roberts' grandmother.
Hey, there we go. Pitch is low. 2 balls and 1 strike.
I know Griffin Roberts' mom is a big watcher of our broadcast, so I hope that she's watching. And a big shout out to Mrs. Roberts out there as well.
Hashtag Griff's grandma, she says. 2-1. Taken for a strike.
An emphatic strike call.
I think he thought there were 2 strikes. Home plate umpire Rich Cacciatore. He was ringing him up.
Yes, he was, and the guy in the hitter Witherspoon looked at him like, "What? You're skipping ahead on me?"
I think Cacciatore was laughing as well. Here comes Wolfram's 2-2 pitch, and doesn't matter. Strike 3, swing and a miss from Witherspoon. Back-to-back strikeouts here for Grant Wolfram. 2 outs. That strikeout brought to you by the law offices of Lang, Exafaris, and Bullard. 2 gone.
Yeah, big day in the strikeout department for the Gatemen. I'm counting my scorebook right now. It looks like 10 strikeouts for Wareham today.
Wow.
Combined.
Law offices.
Yes, the law office is getting a lot of exposure here.
Andrew Friege, the batter, swings one right to Durant at second, throws to first. And the side is retired. 3 up, 3 down in the bottom of the 8th means we head to the 9th. No runs, no hits, no errors, and no men left on. The Gatemen lead it 3-2. You're listening to Wareham Gatemen Baseball on the Gatemen Baseball Network.
Registration is now open for the 2017 Wareham Gatemen High School Clinics. These programs are run by the Gatemen coaching staff with a focus on exposing high school area players to the college game. To sign up for either the hitting, pitching, or catching camps, visit www.gateman.org for more information.
The 99 Restaurants has 9 real-size entrees for only $9.99. They're big, hearty portions you can count on all day, every day, like their hand-breaded crispy fish tacos with cilantro lime rice. The 99 Restaurants, proud sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League.
All-Star Game weekend starts with a celebrity softball game on July 21st at McKeon Park in Hyannis. Come watch Jason Varitek, Bill Lee, Nancy Kerrigan, Scott Zolak, and other celebrities play ball in support of the Cape Cod Baseball League and Spalding Rehabilitation Hospital of Cape Cod. Gates open at 4 p.m. For more information and to buy tickets, go to allstarcapecod.org. That's allstarcapecod.org.
We march to the 9th. Gatemen trying to improve on this 3-2 lead they have right now over the Bravos. Jacob Toby alongside Sam Corman. Kyle Marmon's night is done. It's Nick Johnson coming in for the Bourne Braves. Nick Johnson, he's a Worcester native out of URI. He'll face Tristan Pompey. Pompey takes ball 1.
Big leg kick, strong overhand delivery as you saw there from Kyle Johnson, or excuse me, Nick Johnson. Kyle Marmon, a phenomenal performance today.
Pompey lines it foul down the third base line.
Kyle Marmon doing a great job coming in relief after a tough outing for Andrew Crane. Comes in and strikes out 3 Gatemen batters. Pretty impressive stuff from that slur ball in Marmon.
Pompey takes an off-speed pitch in for a strike. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
That slider came in from Nick Johnson off the outside part of the plate. Came in a good job there by this new pitcher for the Braves.
Johnson's 1-2. Framed by the catcher Lynn. Crowd was hoping for ring 'em up.
Not quite from Nick Johnson. Almost. But that fastball just inside.
2-2 pitch from Johnson. Chip foul within the box.
And that was a really good changeup from Nick Johnson, who executed it perfectly. And Tristan Pompey out in front of it. Just got a little bit of a piece of it to stay alive. But once again, Pompey trying to rake at pitches.
2 strikes. Swinging and fouling this one off is Pompey.
You know, at some point, Pompey is going to launch one. Just a matter of when he gets a hold of one. It's usually going out of the ballpark.
2-2 pitch. Sends this one foul now. Hopping into the Wareham dugout. First base coach Sean Callahan kind of deflects it into the dugout with his left hand.
Yeah, maybe Sean Callahan trying to wake up one of those guys in the Gateman dugout.
Hey, get another run across the board, he's saying. Johnson's 2-2 pitch. Pompey, he has struck out now 3 times in this game, all swinging, and he is upset.
Yeah, it's tough for Tristan Pompey. He's in a little bit of a slump, and we know he's a great hitter, so he's going to come out of it at some point, just a matter of when. But yeah, it's not been just a slump for Pompey. It's been the fact that he's been striking out a lot. It can be pretty frustrating for a hitter. And that's now 16 strikeouts in the season for Pompey.
John Topa takes ball 1 inside.
This is only his 9th game.
I was talking to Don Snedden, head coach for Wareham, before the game about Tristan Pompey and how he's been struggling. The 1-0 rocketed off the second base bag into right center field for a base hit on a line.
Wow.
So John Topa on first base with 1 out in the inning, but back to Pompey.
Skeet shooting.
Yeah, skeet shooting. Back to Pompey. Snedden was talking about how they had a discussion about his struggles. They were looking at his statistics back in Kentucky. He led the team in strikeouts, but he also led the team in walks. He was saying he needs to have better plate discipline, stop swinging at pitches outside the zone. He said, you know how to do this. You've done it before. You got on base a lot at Kentucky. Just got to settle down here.
And John Topa, a guy that started almost every game this season, we'll get to it after this pitch, what I'm going to say.
Jaron Duran is the batter. He sends one on a flare into shallow center field, falling and in for a base hit. Rounding second, heading for third is Topa. Runners at the corners with 1 out here in the 9th.
Great job by Duran swinging away on that first pitch, and it works for him. But John Topa now, he's played in almost every game this season. He's played in now 19 of, this is game number 20, I believe, for the Gatemen. He's played in 19 of them, this being the 19th. He's now hitting .356 after that hit, and that's just impressive stuff from Topa.
Nick Angelini is the batter, and strike that. It's Tanner Dodson coming in to pinch hit. He has been really hot right now.
Yeah, why not bring in a guy like Tanner Dodson to try to escalate this lead in the 9th inning? It was honestly surprising seeing him out of the lineup today with how hot he's been.
In my opinion, I think Tanner Dodson is just one of the better pieces on this team in terms of just all-around usage. You can use him in so many different circumstances. Dodson takes a first pitch ball, 1-0. He's just been fantastic. He does whatever Don Snedden asks him to do.
Yeah, and the pitching especially, just So impressive, a guy like that. I'm sure he'd be devastated if he was drafted to a team in the American League, taking away his ability to hit in the majors.
Runners at the corners, 1 out, 3-2 lead for the Gatemen. Breaking ball pops in for a strike, 1-1.
Granted, he probably wants to be drafted anywhere. He'd be grateful for the opportunity, of course, but I'm sure if he had to choose, he prefers the National League so he could get some at-bats because he's so good at the plate.
Topa, the runner at third. Duran, the runner at first. 1 out here in the top of the 9th. Here comes the pitch. Breaking ball misses a bit high, 2-1.
Another good breaking ball, though, from the new pitcher, Nick Johnson. Just sunk in there just a little bit high. That would have been a good pitch to hit for Tanner Dotson had he swung. It was a hanging breaking ball. Could have whacked it out opposite field. But he takes a ball instead, and now he's ahead in the count.
Johnson sets. And now steps off the mound. Dotson redoing his gloves. Takes a couple practice hacks. Steps back in from the left side. Time called at first base. Don Snedden giving a sign to Jaron Duran.
That probably means he's going. We'll see, though.
Johnson looking him back at first. 2 balls and 1 strike to Dotson at the plate. Runner doesn't go. Dotson sends this one out to center field. Under it is Atwood, the center fielder, makes the catch. Coming home to score is John Topa. Gatemen lead it 4-2 thanks to a sacrifice fly from Tanner Dotson.
Yeah, comes in as a pinch hitter, gets the job done. How about that for Tanner Dotson? He comes in the 9th inning, gets himself a nice RBI. I'm sure he'll be satisfied with his day when it's said and done, as long as the Gatemen pull out this victory. But does exactly what he's supposed to do. Comes off the bench, and I'm sure Coach Snedden, and he, understanding the situation, probably said, get this ball in the air. And he did just that.
Stephen Kwan will step in with a runner on first base. Jaron Duran, breaking ball swooping in but missing the zone, 1-0.
Which hole is Stephen Kwan going to look for right now? I see a big one between first and second base right there. And I wouldn't be surprised if Kwan recognizes that and goes right for that hole on the right side.
Kwan is 2 for 3 today. A couple singles and an RBI on the sac fly. Strike taken by the Wareham center fielder. 1 ball and 1 strike with 2 outs.
But also the third baseman right now, who's Triolo, is in a little bit towards the grass, so that might not be a bad idea for Stephen Kwan, who can basically just select where he wants to hit the ball each time he's at bat.
Johnson sets on the mound, deals the 1-1, in for a strike. 1 ball and 2 strikes. So a 2-run lead for the Gatemen here in the top of the 9th at Bourne Park. Trying to add to it with Stephen Kwan at the plate and a runner on first base. Gatemen 4 runs on 11 hits. They've had a couple errors. 2 runs, 6 hits for the Bourne Braves. Now 4 errors in the last 2 games for the Wareham Gatemen. Johnson's 1-2 is sent foul and out of play.
Oh, wow. There's probably about 10 of them out there chasing that foul ball. He's a herd. As you see him separating now towards the school.
One ball and 2 strikes with 2 outs. Johnson, the new pitcher, coming in. Here he faces Kwan. The runner goes. Ball was inside. Duran down to second. The tag was in time. Nicely done by Free J, the shortstop, to tag out to tag out Duran. And that will end the inning, but not before Tanner Dotson gives the Gatemen another run on a sac fly. They lead it 4-2. 1 more run on 2 hits. No errors, no man left on. We're headed to the bottom of the 9th. Can the Gatemen close this one out? Find out next. You're watching Wareham Gatemen Baseball on the Gatemen Baseball Network.
Baseball Factory, which has proudly supported the Cape Cod League for 17 seasons, conducts baseball training, tournaments, and showcases at over 600 events nationwide, providing players with world-class instruction. The Baseball Factory program leads to future success both on and off the field for players age 8 to 18. Learn more at baseballfactory.com.
Cape Cod Healthcare is the leading provider of healthcare services for residents and visitors of Cape Cod, with 2 acute care hospitals and more than 450 physicians. For more information, please visit capecodhealth.org. Cape Cod Healthcare. Expert physicians, quality hospitals, superior care.
Visit Stars Restaurant at Chatham Bars Inn Resort and Spa for a world-class dining experience, a proud member of leading hotels of the world.
Gatemen trying to close this one out here at Bourne Park. They lead it 4-2. Jacob Toby alongside Sam Corman, and Brett Canine coming in for his first save of this 2017 CCBL season.
Yeah, trying to recover after a tough outing against the Falmouth Commodores, in which he blew a 2-run Gateman lead back just last week. And you know, he had 2 outs and 2 strikes in that game, and then the Falmouth team just unloaded 3 opposite field singles. You know that he's ready to recover from that.
Richie Palacios, the batter, takes a strike on the inside part of the plate, 0-1. Yeah, 1 strike away from that win where the Gatemen, they ultimately fall.
And that just happens, I guess. Just the Falmouth bats came alive at the right time, and some bad defense as well playing into that game.
Canine, his 0-1, fouled straight back, no balls and 2 strikes. Canine in a different situation than last summer. Last summer he started all 8 appearances. This summer he is on an innings limit, and he will strictly be used in the bullpen like he was back at Cal State Fullerton this past year.
Yeah, and he's going to be the closer for most of these games for the Gatemen, and here he is in this same situation.
0-2 pitch from Canine is low. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Canine had a 2.64 strikeout to walk ratio last summer with Wareham. Here comes the 1-2 to Richie Palacios. Sends it foul. Just missing getting over the screen. Some fans wanted that one, you could hear.
Yes, the herd of kids behind. They're just running around, pacing, waiting for a foul ball out here at Bourne Park.
Bourne looking for a comeback here in a walk-off fashion. Oh, they've done it before. We'll get into that. Here comes the 1-2 on the inside part. 2 balls and 2 strikes. I mean, close calls tonight at the home plate.
Yeah, definitely. And big spot for Brett Canine. Bigger spot for Richie Palacios out of the Hamptons League last year. Looking to get it done at a Towson University in Maryland.
Canine's 2-2 pitch. Swung on and missed. And Palacios is red hot. He's upset right now, but he strikes out. 1 out here in the 9th. That strikeout brought to you by the law offices of Lang, Exafaris, and Bullard for the first out here in the 9th.
And good job by the Gateman bullpen so far. Really good job by Jordan Britton. 3 innings pitched, 1 hit, 3 strikeouts for Britton. Also, Grant Wolfram comes in for an inning and does a great job. You know, he strikes out 2 batters, but a 1-2-3 inning for Wolfram in that 8th. So he's been pretty solid here.
Jared Triolo takes strike 1 from Brett Canine, who started Game 1 of the playoffs last year at Spillane Field versus this Bourne Braves ball club. Went 5 1/3 innings, gave up 5 hits. Check swing by Triolo. Called a strike anyway. No balls and 2 strikes.
You probably know more about the pitch repertoire of Brett Canine, but that looks like a cut fastball coming in there, and it's just beautiful. Late cut action that really is fooling Triolo early in this at bat. 2 of them consecutively from Canine.
Canine's 0-2. Up and away, trying to get Triolo to chase on a fastball. He throws a lot of strikes, Brett Canine. His fastball, as Sam Corman would say, is elite.
It is elite. And I just use that word because it, sums up good. Sums up great. Elite. People overlook it.
1-2. Swung on and missed. Back-to-back strikeouts for Brett Canine. Triolo goes down swinging, and the Bourne Braves are down to their final out. That strikeout brought to you by the law offices of Lang, Exoforest, and Bullard. Count them up. Is that 12 strikeouts tonight?
That is 12, and 6 of the last 8 putouts for the Gatemen have been via the strikeout. Great job by the bullpen so far. Still some work to do for Canine, though.
Andy Atwood, the center fielder, the last hope for the Bourne Braves as the Wareham Gatemen are up 4-2 in the bottom of the 9th. Strike 1 called by home plate umpire Richard Cacciatore. Man, General Manager Andy Lang has to be happy to hear about all these strikeouts.
He's got to be happy to be able to watch the game on the road. And it's a great feature. Thanks to the Bourne Braves once again.
0-1 bounces to the plate. 1 ball and 1 strike.
But a rare road broadcast, video broadcast feed for the Gatemen Baseball Network in conjunction with the Bourne Braves. And it's been a great night of baseball and a really close game. You like to see that between these two Western Division rivals, excuse me.
1-1 to Atwood. Called for a strike, and now Bourne down to their final strike.
Another cutter there from Canine. It's been pretty solid so far. Bourne with just 1 strike to work with in a 2-run game. Gatemen pitchers have held the Braves to just 6 hits today.
Canine's 1-2 pitch. Just missing. Oohs and ahs from the crowd.
And with reason. That was a very close pitch, but I do think the home plate umpire, Cacciatore, got it right, a little bit outside. But the crowd on edge here with 1 strike remaining for their hometown Bourne Braves on a 4th of July game. Of course, one of the biggest nights across the Cape Cod Baseball League.
Canine's 2-2. Check swing. Breaking ball, did he go? No, says first base umpire James Fonseca.
Now a full count for Canine, and you do not want to put this runner on first base. This is a big pitch in this situation. With the top of the order coming up, Jamison Hanna's been on base twice today, and Grant Williams probably the best hitter on this team in the hole for Bourne. So this is a big batter for Brett Canine.
Full count. Here comes the 3-2. Fouled off, and we'll do it again. Atwood, nice at bat.
Really good at bat. Knows the situation that he's in, knows that he needs to continue this game, and just wants to put the ball in play. And it's tough against a really good pitcher out of Cal State Fullerton in Canine, who showed off his stuff in the College World Series this year.
Gatemen up 4-2. 2 outs in the bottom of the 9th. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Here comes Canine's pitch. Swung on and missed. Andy Atwood goes down swinging. Brett Canine redeems himself. 3 straight strikeouts in the bottom of the 9th to give the Gatemen a 4-2 win over the Bourne Braves. That final strikeout brought to you by the law offices of Lang, Exoforest, and Bullard. Count them up. Final tally, 13 strikeouts by the Gatemen pitching staff tonight. They were elite. They were on fire. They win this one 4-2 over the Bravos.
Yeah, really good job by the Gatemen pitching staff today, especially in the hitters too, getting some good situational hits early in the game when they were down 2-0 in this game, I believe, or excuse me, they were down 1-0 in this game, and then came back, had a big 3-run top of the 3rd, and good job by the Gatemen bats to come alive when they needed to.
So the Wareham Gatemen win this one by a final score of 4-2. The player of the game tonight is Jaron Duran.
Yeah, Jaron Duran today pretty impressive performance. 2 hits, including that big RBI triple back in the 3rd inning. That came around and scored John Topa. And that run ended up being the game-winning, or Jaron Duran's, his run in that 3rd inning, ended up being the game-winning run on an RBI sac fly from Stephen Kwan, who also had a great game today. So good stuff from the Gatemen. The scoreboard might not completely show it with only 4 runs on the board, but once again, getting that 4 runs has been enough for the Gatemen to get wins early on in this season.
So the Bravos, they will fall to 11-9 on the season. They're still in first place at the moment, as the Falmouth Commodores have lost to the Katuitt Kettleers 5-3. That one goes final, so Bourne will still be in first place. Katuitt now tied with Falmouth for 2nd place.
But a good day for the Gatemen, getting those 2 top teams in the Eastern Division fall, so they gain a game on both of them. And, you know, they get a tough game tomorrow because they're playing the same team again at home. And with that, you know, Bourne's going to come back pretty hungry in Wareham for another win at Spillane Field, which they got earlier this season.
So Wareham advances to 9-11, 18 points on the season. They're still sitting at 4th place in the Western Division. So the Wareham Gatemen, they beat the Bourne Braves by a final score of 4-2 here at Dorn Park. Thank you for listening to this broadcast of Wareham Gatemen Baseball on the Gatemen Baseball Network. The general manager of the Wareham Gatemen is Andrew Lang. The producer of today's broadcast is Nick Veronesi. Our sideline reporter is Claudia Chikamian. Thanks to our beat writer in his seersucker suit, Matt Feld, and today's host, Connor Federico. The next broadcast of Wareham Gatemen Baseball will be tomorrow as the Gatemen return home to host the Braves for a 2nd game of the home-and-home series. The game starts at 6:30. So for Sam Corman, I'm Jacob Toby. Happy 4th of July, everybody. Thanks for tuning into this presentation of Wareham Gatemen Baseball on the Gatemen Baseball Network.